while drinking adds dynamics to anything, but we are here because we want to challenge ourselves. All right, look at these seats up in the front. Come on. You guys from the back. Come on. Sir. Yep, you got eye contact. I made it. Come on. It's so much more fun in the front. You guys that are coming down, yeah, keep coming. Come on down. All right, we got people in the back, people in the front. Operation Green Seat happening. Ladies and gentlemen and gentlewomen and gentle technology and gentle students and gentle people and gentle pets and gentle starfish. You have found yourself at the OC Tech Happy Hour. From rock bottom to rock star, brought to you by Youngry. If you're still talking, this is the time that you still have to shut up because we're going to clap a loud, annoying, drunken clap in 3, 2, 1. Clap it up! Welcome to OC Tech Happy Hour. How many people is this their first time to a OC Tech Happy Hour event? Raise your hand. Fuck yeah. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Now, I apologize early for my language, but I guarantee I am a professional. When I say cheers, you say beers. When I say beers, you say cheers. Cheers? Beers? Taco? Supreme. Ladies and gentlemen, we have such a great show for you tonight, and I am a proud American, and I already know who I'm going to vote for, so who cares about the debates tonight, right? You're going to see it all on Twitter, and you're going to see how everybody that is going to mess up, and they're all going to be catty with each other, but you're here to improve the economy. You're here to create more jobs. So you are doing the exact thing that you need to be doing right now, because what you will learn from our entrepreneurial guest tonight is going to blow your mind. I wish it was October because then I could say it would be scary, but it's not. What's scary is that everything from October shows up in like summertime at CVS, and it freaks me out. It makes me not sure what the time of month it is. But I am here to get everybody on the same page to listen up. How many people actually read? Raise your hand. Yeah, read. I wasn't sure if you did. How many people actually read books? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to call your shit out. What was the last book you read?
I don't remember.
Bullshit! I knew it! I knew it! How many people have read a book? Raise your hand now. What was the last book you read?
Innovator's Dilemma.
Anybody else read that? It's terrible. Don't read it. How many people are willing to buy a book that's good and could potentially change your life? Raise your hand. Everybody raise your fucking hand. Come on. All right. What is the next book you're going to read?
Rock bottom to rock star.
Rock bottom to rock star. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a round of applause. Yeah. Listen, the value of tonight. Oh, did you just buy one? $31 is the priceless amount for you to pay to learn from your mistakes. How many people here has been at rock bottom? How many people here have completely messed something up? How many people here respect the man that has the cojones to share how his mess-ups made him into a rock star? Raise your hand. Give a round of applause because we all mess up, and if we can learn from somebody who is a self-made millionaire, it's worth $3,100, but today you have a discount because it's only $31. Ladies and gentlemen, get your phones out for me real quick before we start the show. Get your phones out, make sure that they are ready to go. Because here at this event, it's not just about us, it's about expanding to the world. So I want you to go to his website real quick. Wait a minute, there he is. Everybody look, it's Ryan. Ryan, is that you? Everybody give Ryan a round of applause. All right. All right. Business is made by mistakes. He's made the mistakes. He's learned. He's here to help you out. We have a lot of people that have messed up a bunch, but they're going to share their mind with you. And more importantly, I want to bring up Ash from Youngry to talk for just a minute about why Youngry is involved in this thing. How many people have no idea what Youngry means? Raise your hand high. Awesome. Ash, you have your work cut out for you. Where are you? Ladies and gentlemen, the guy with the shirt of the name that you have no idea, give him a round of applause. Come on. Say cheers.
Cheers, guys. Everyone.
They're messing them up. Say cheers.
Cheers.
Beers. Say beers.
Beers. Cheers. Cheers.
Say Youngry.
Youngry.
Hungry.
Oh, my main man. How's everyone doing today? Awesome. So, first off, I really want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Some of you don't know who I am, so pardon me for those who do what I'm about to say. I'm a product of the Southern California entrepreneur ecosystem, okay? I cut my teeth here. I've been through more things from a failure perspective to a growth perspective. I've, listened to very successful people. I've made mistakes because I didn't listen to those successful people. I'm telling you all this because I realized that one of the biggest problems that needs to be solved is to really provide awesome media for early stage entrepreneurs. Hence the name Youngry, the young and hungry. It's not about your age, it's about being young and experienced, but hungry in spirit. How many people here connect with that? Young and experienced, hungry, but with ambition, right? So this is for you all. And how many people here are more successful, or they mentor, or they invest? Raise your hands. Wow, so we have some people here and some people back there. So Youngry is for you too, because we cannot provide this awesome media for those early stage entrepreneurs if you, the mentors, the investors, the people who have been there, done that, aren't willing to provide great content and be at events like this. So Youngry did something very unique, and I'm gonna introduce someone in a second to help you better understand this. Youngry decided to do a crowdfunding campaign to get us off the ground. We wanted to say, hey, why don't you all join our movement? We call it a movement. And let's have you just, support us. And what's turned out to be a simple crowdfunding campaign using a platform that was backed by AngelList has now become a 20-event, 8-city tour. And we wanted to end the tour back here in Orange County. This event is unique because Youngry's headquarters, as of now, is in Orange County. So let's give it up to the OC Tech community. Seriously, guys, come on. You guys are all it. So with that said, I actually wanted to bring up my other founder. He's not here in person, but he wants to be here in spirit. So Vanessa, can you bring him up? So I want to bring up my other co-founder. He wanted to say a few words. He's in New Jersey, New York City area, and just wanted to have him up here for a second. And then we're going to get into the program, and you're going to hear some great talks. Seriously, do not leave. And yes, last plug, please buy Ryan's book, Ryan's the Man, et cetera, et cetera. So let's bring up my partner, co-founder of Youngry. There he is. No, it's not a bachelor audition.
I think he's scared. Make him feel comfortable.
Hey guys, not sure if you guys can hear me. I got the text to say I'm live. This is Ankur Garg. I'm one of the other co-founders of Youngry. Honestly, I'm just so humbled and honored the fact that so many of you came out tonight, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me and Ash to see all this support. When we started Youngry, it was all about entrepreneurs, supporting entrepreneurs, and helping everyone just kind of make their visions come to life. Quick shout out, Ryan Blair, I know you're in the audience. Guys, make sure you buy his book. It's amazing. You guys are gonna love it. Guys, once again, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Tonight is all about you guys, the entrepreneurs. You are the reason that we do everything that we do, so thank you so much.
There you go. Back to Ryan Foland.
All right, look at this. We have people from all over the world, like New York, who just want to be here in Orange County. How cool is that? Now, before we bring up our first speaker, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 volunteers. In the back, can I get some volunteers? There you go. Move your ass up to the front. Give it up for Mr. Chaplin over here. Give him a big old round of applause. Guys, when you're speaking, the last thing you want to do is look at an empty seat. So how about you, sir, in the back? I know it's hot back there. Come on up. Yes, give her a round of applause. You've won a front seat. No, you just get to sit down, bro. That's all you get. Yeah, that's all you get. That's all you get. Here you go, young lady up here. No, yes, come on. Look at her run away. It's okay to sit in the front. When you get hit with spit, it's way more exciting. Now, Lee, would you like to come up and give a small announcement or anything that's going on? Okay, he just did the Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm a badass. He went like this. Nah. Give this man a round of applause for he deserves, because he is the man, the myth, the legend behind it. Stand up so they can see your big ass. Yay! Listen, the next party you go to and you find out who buys the beer, you better clap a little bit louder than that. He bought your beer, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. You know what? I just think that they're drunk, so you're doing your job. Now, my name is Ryan Foland, and we want this to live beyond this moment here. If you want to tweet me up, I like to tweet. So while I'm behind the scenes, I'm probably retweeting or tweeting or liking. You can find me at Ryan Foland. Hey, look at that. And by the way, if you do an Instagram or a tweet and you use hashtag OCTHH, OCTHH, then you get featured on the big screen. So we want to support our sponsors who make this happen. We want to support you guys. But what Ash's partner said is the most important. Tonight is here for you. Everyone say you. Say me. Say cheers. Say beers. Now I say cheers, you say beers. I say beers, you say cheers. Cheers. Beers. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our first speaker? May I introduce Michael DeMarco. Are we here? Are we here? Everyone say, Michael, Michael, Michael. A progressive clap. Now progressive clap. Michael, 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 Michael. Faster, faster, Michael, Michael.
I don't need the hype up, but that's okay.
Would you guys please take that back? Start quickly and then go slower. Oh! We just drained the energy for you. There you go, bud.
Okay, man. So a lot of you guys probably don't know me. You probably never heard of me, but you just met one of my partners on my company that I started with a credit card and just some of my friends and a lot of hustle called Shred Supplements. We started back in 2011 with literally nothing. And a lot of times I meet people and they think, they want to go into business and they have these barriers that they want to overcome and they think they don't have enough. Like, what is enough, right? So that's not the only business that I started. I'm also a chiropractor. And I kind of lived like the chiropractic dream. I have a lot of people that work for me. Like, I'm making money right now. I'm not even there in New Jersey. And I see professional athletes and a lot of different athletes, and that's taught me a lot. Like meeting athletes and seeing these people at this high level and being around entrepreneurs that are at the highest level, it really shows you something that you can be. And so this is actually my first time in California since for 30 years. I came here when I was 1 year old. And it's an awesome place. I just feel like you guys are so lucky to be here, to live here, to be in this amazing place, staying at this place in Laguna Beach, where there's, the ocean, and it's kind of like picture framed by the blue skies and the cliffs. And I'm here with my beautiful wife that I didn't think I could ever have. I'm in a place that I didn't think I could ever be. I achieved my goals of becoming a millionaire before I'm 30, and it doesn't even feel like I did it yet. So I just can't help but ask myself, how the fuck did I get here? And I'm from New Jersey, so I'm gonna curse, and a lot. That is the total bullshit question. People from New Jersey ask, not from New Jersey ask. Yeah, I'm obviously. Yeah, I don't say that, but it's okay. Montclair. I'm from Jackson. But right now I live, I look at Manhattan, it's an awesome view, which I didn't ever think I could have. I actually saw, in September 11th, the Twin Towers from my high school, I saw them come down. That's kind of personal to me. I actually saw the smoke over my school, and I wasn't even gonna talk about this. I had a speech prepared, and you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna talk about how I got there and what this means to me. And I saw, so my grandparents, they lived in Brooklyn, and I saw, the ash and everything. We went down to ground zero after it happened, and we saw the cleanup efforts and literally the pile of shit that was there. And now I look out my window, and there's this building there, and it it's replaced those two buildings, and it didn't replace all the lives that were lost, but it kind of represents something to me that, like, success. So when I get to my apartment and we look outside and we're right on the river and we look at Manhattan, that's like motivation to me. Like, you guys have a different motivation. Yours is you go outside and you see nature. You see the ocean, you see the mountains, you see all this stuff, and people pay a lot of fucking money for that shit. Like, they go on these retreats just to be outside. You guys can do it for free. So as entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs in the making, you guys have such an advantage over people that live in New York, where in New York, people tell you that you can't do something. They're always trying to tell you what to do. If you don't go the traditional path and you don't get a regular job, they think that you don't even work. You could have a few million in the bank, and if you don't have a job, then you're a loser. And meeting people on the West Coast, meeting people that are successful, like I went to a conference last month in Colorado with like these insane. The people in the audience were so successful, like Charles Poliquin, Tim Ferriss keynoted, and it was a super small event, and I only had the opportunity to go there because of what I'm doing in my practice. Like, I'm just trying to do good. And one of my patients, he gave me the opportunity to go there with him because I helped him. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is you can never just take a job or do something for money. You can't do anything just to make money or like for a selfish goal, because that never works. Like, if you want to make money, go fucking work on Wall Street and move some money around. Like, it's not fulfilling. And I was gonna do that. And I went and I interned in a place, and it was actually in my family, and that wasn't for me. I'm from a normal working class family. My dad's in a union, my mom's a nurse. Like, my mom actually works for me in my office right now. And she's giving me a fucking hard time all the time, and she's so afraid of everything, but I love her, and she helped me a lot, helped me, even though she told me I couldn't be what I wanted to be. I didn't listen to her, obviously. She tried to tell me to go to school, to get a job, to want to be to be an accountant, which my wife is. So that kind of turned out opposite way. But I never felt like that was my path, And like, we all have to ask ourselves, what is our path? When we're kids and we're young, and people ask us, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, you ask a kid that, and they already know. Like, we all already knew what we wanted to be. We all, like, kind of knew who we were. And then along the way, everyone told us, you can't be that. You have to get this job. No, not that job. Get a better job. Go to this school. No, that's not a good enough school. Go to that school. And then when you get out, try to get this job. Oh, wait, you don't have experience for that yet? Sorry. Yeah, but this is an entry-level position. Like, I thought, like, I was going to get experience here. Nope, you're not good enough yet. You're not good enough yet. And just those years of telling us we're not good enough yet. Like, people literally tell us what we can eat, what we should eat, how to exercise. And we know, a lot of times, we know it's not the right thing. Like, we eat something and we feel like crap, right? And we do it because, like, people told us it was healthy for us. And we keep believing them. We don't actually ask why. We don't actually ask why we're doing the things we're doing. We don't actually ask why we want what we want. So you really have to ask yourself, why are you even doing something in the first place? Right? Are you doing it because someone else told you that you should be doing it? Or are you doing it because you really want to do it? So when I tell people that, I started Shreds, I'm the co-founder, I was involved in the first few years of it, but now I'm not. I own part of the company, but I have great partners that work there. They built it. Like, we set the tone in place, like what it's going to be. And through our experience and my experience and just trying to build something that was bigger than itself, it turned from a $15,000 credit card limit, which I was in $150,000 debt, and in my partner Arvin's basement and Ankur's basement. I remember we used to go there and like write crap on his like whiteboard and in his parents' basement, and it's still there. Like, none of us had money or success yet, but we all, if you met us, you all kind of knew something was going to happen, something good was going to happen. And you have to, like, we all kind of have that in ourselves, right? But we all have our own unique path. So you can't just look at somebody else and try to copy them. That's never going to work. Anytime someone tries to copy someone else, they never make it because they're not being themselves. And self-awareness and authenticity, that's like a huge thing right now. And it's kind of a buzzword, but you actually have to mean it. You actually have to know who you are. And how do you find out who you are? Like, I feel like am I different? Like, that I have success now? And do I even feel like success? No, because once you feel like you made it, you never made it. I still feel like the kid, that was good at school. I still feel like the kid who was picked on all the time, called dictionary boy, because I always answer questions in class. And, I was always that person that, you feel bad for the teacher when they're asking questions and they're like, no one raises their hand. But you know the answer, so just fucking say it. So I'm still the kid that in kindergarten, my mom had to come pick me up because I told everyone in school that Santa Claus wasn't real because it didn't make any sense to me. I'm still that person, and we're all still that person that we were. And as much as we try to not be that person, we still that. So we can't forget that. And everything we do in our lives and our business that we start and our career paths that we take, we have to go and we have to follow that path. And, we could sit on our phones and text while someone's speaking, and that's pretty rude. I'm going to call you out on it because I'm fucking from New Jersey, and I wouldn't do that to somebody because I don't fucking disrespect people like that. And that's why I'm successful in my businesses, because I try to do the right thing all the time, even when people are telling me that you're being too nice or you're giving too much, because in the end, it comes back to you. And you can try to get one over on somebody, and you can try to do something that, just is for yourself. But if you're not actually doing something to help somebody else, then what's the point? So one of my physical therapists was telling me that this competitor, she went to Starbucks in the morning and they were giving out free coffee with their cards for everybody. And they were trying to get people to come to them for giving free coffee. I'm like, Denise, I fucking do that every day. Once a month, I leave $100 at the coffee place and I say, just give it to everybody that walks in here and you don't tell them who it's from. Because when you do it from a place that you don't want that kind of recognition, that's actually authentic. That's actually true. So you can't ever do anything with the expectation of, I'm going to get something back from this. And that's a problem in today's society, that people are trying to always just get something back instead of giving. And when we give, you actually help someone, you actually add value to their lives, you actually are going to get something. Bill Gates didn't start his company to become a billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg, they didn't start Facebook to become a billionaire. The only reason Facebook makes money now is because there's investors on it. They kind of forced them to monetize it. And people like that, those are the people that are going to change the world. Those are people that are going to change things. And maybe you don't have to be on a scale of a Mark Zuckerberg, right? Maybe you don't have to be on a scale of a Bill Gates or Mark Cuban or any of those type of people. You just have to be on your own scale. And maybe it's just the 5 people around you. Maybe it's just your family. Maybe it's just, your friends or someone. Maybe it's just one person. But so actually being a chiropractor taught me a lot of actually doing something to change people's lives. So one of the fundamental principles of chiropractic is that your power that made your body heals your body. The power that made your body kind of fixes everything. And I kind of hate calling myself a chiropractor because I hate putting labels on things, because I'm just a person. I'm Mike DeMarco, and I know these things. I know how to help people. And I hate that question, what do you do? I don't know how many of you get that. And they're you meet someone and what do you do? And all they're really trying to do is just get you to ask them what they do so they can fucking tell you. Because no one gives a fuck about your shine. No one cares about what you do. Generally, they're just trying to tell you what they do. So one of the things is that if you change one person's life, maybe they don't change 5 people's lives. Maybe change 1, and then another one, and another one, and it builds. And then it eventually changes everything. It changes the world. So that's things really need to change. We have the debates going on, and I see the biggest problem across the board right now is everybody's trying to play the victim. I'm the victim. And when you play the victim and you have an adversity in your life, that becomes an excuse not to do shit. So when you have the adversity and you don't play the victim and you play the hero, that adversity becomes your fucking strength. Just like Ryan Blair. He had these things going on in his life, and there was one person that came by and saw this strength inside him, and they didn't show him. So one of my things, I love Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker didn't know he was Jedi. Obi-Wan, he always was good at shit. And then Obi-Wan came along and showed him that he was actually a Jedi. He was the one that was going to change everything. He didn't make him that. He just revealed the curtains, peeled back the layers, and showed him who he actually was. So we all have this person inside of ourselves that we need to be, and all we have to do is just peel back the layers in order to be that person, in order to change things. Don't try to be someone else, just be yourself. When you're authentic, that's when all the good shit's gonna happen. So, am I done? Yeah.
You might not be done, but we're gonna clap for you. Stay up here, stay up here. We have a couple minutes. There's some serious tweetable stuff back there. I'm kind of pissed because I was too busy tweeting the whole time. So,
Yeah, man.
how do we find you on Twitter?
So, I hate using Twitter. Like,
How do we find you on, wait, what is your favorite social
I
media?
use Facebook, Michael DeMarco. I have LinkedIn, Michael DeMarco. Snapchat.
Hey, we do have a
Dr.
Snapchat
Dr.
filter.
DeMarco, and also Instagram, Dr. DeMarco, because I mean, I don't have as many followers as a lot of our athletes. I have a few. But Instagram is how we built our business in the first place. Instagram it's an amazing tool. You know, it helps.
So on Instagram, where are you?
Dr. DeMarco.
Get your phones out and open up Snapchat. Watch this, okay? Do we have any snappers here? We got one. All right, open up your Snapchat, and you're gonna say 10 seconds of wisdom, like you change one person's life and it changes the world, or it's all about paying it forward, or some of these like nuggets. A 10-second nugget.
All right.
I gotta get my phone. Everybody's gonna get it, and then we're all gonna use the OC Tech Happy Hour Snapchat filter. I'm trying to keep it G level here, okay? So I'm getting you my Snapchat, and if you're not on Snapchat, that's okay. You should feel bad about yourself right now.
Ready?
And here we go.
Okay,
this
so
is
one-
wait, ready? Everybody get their snaps ready. And action.
So one of the things that I've learned, especially being a chiropractor, working on people, helping them achieve physical goals, anything that you want in life, there's pain involved. If you can't get through that pain and you run away from
Time. It's got to be 10 seconds.
it, bro, that's why I don't do this shit.
Well, this is good. I still got it. Okay, well, I'm just saying now we have to take another snap. So, no, this is good. So watch, everybody, get the filter going, right? Watch this. No, this is good. This is good for you. I know, this is good for you.
And yes, I actually know Mike's situation, so.
Okay, wait, I got to get my filter. Look, there we got the Snapchat filter.
It's too short.
I know, but we can work on this. So I'm going to post this to my story now, and now we have like the second 10 seconds, okay?
Where was I? Oh, so, okay, so.
All right, wait, I got to load up my Snapchat again. Okay, and ready? Take two, get your snaps ready, and snap attack.
So if you don't have pain, you're not gonna be successful. Anything that you do in life, pain is part of the process. If you can't get through it, you're gonna fail.
What do you think? Give a round of applause. Woo! Now that's a snap. All right, well, hey, we appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you.
Do you want to take one or two questions?
Yeah, sure.
How about, do we have
Anyone
any questions?
And, you know, I've spoken before in front of groups, and people don't ask questions, and it's not, yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm busy snapping. Are you ready? Oh, it's over here. Here we go.
Real question. I respect your story and everything that you've been through, but a lot of times as an entrepreneur, we hear, no's all the time as well. What happens if you don't start out with that credit card?
So here's the thing.
Repeat the question, please, because we're a little quiet.
So she wanted to know what happens when you don't start out with a credit card. So everyone starts out somewhere, right? So some people start out, wealthy families. They have millions of dollars, and a lot of people think they have it easy, but I know a lot of my friends have a lot of money, and they really don't have it easy. Everyone has their own adversity that they have to overcome. So if you really want something like that bad, you're gonna figure it out. You don't care. You'll get the money from somewhere. So one of my clients that I mentored, he wanted to start a meal prep business, and he thought that his main goal was to have a restaurant. And he's like, I don't have any money. I need $150,000 to start and all this stuff. Bro, you fucking don't. You do what I did. You start with nothing, and you build from there. And you keep on just building and building and building what you have. And the only way you can do it is if you're not greedy. And maybe it's not money that you have value, but it's you, your time, and what you offer. And you really have to figure out what you have to offer other people. You really have to actually help them. And when you help people, they'll give you a break. They'll give you some leeway. And you have to be also physically ready to do that stuff. You can't just think about it and it's gonna happen. So, people read The Secret. How many people have read The Secret? And you can't just like think about shit and it just appears in front of your face. And you can't just take action because I don't know, I'm sure we've all taken just random action and we visualize stuff and nothing ever happened.
Wait, has that ever happened to anybody here? If you're not saying yes, you're a liar.
Yeah. But if you don't recognize like your strengths and who you actually are, if you're not self-aware and you're not physically prepared for those things, it's not going to happen. So like I was a bodybuilder. Like if I stepped on stage and I didn't like train and I didn't work out and I didn't eat the right foods and I wasn't like physically prepared and also mentally prepared too, because you're standing on a stage with lights and you're not going to do well. And maybe you're not going to do well anyway because you're relying on somebody else's opinion, but you have to understand that. You're doing it for yourself. So if you fail, who gives a fuck? Like, if you fail doing the shit that you loved, being yourself, that's all that matters. Like, having the cars and the money and everything like that, that doesn't matter if you're yourself.
Give it up for this man right here. Do the shit you love, and if you fuck up, nobody cares. It's about you.
Right.
Great job.
Yeah, they're gonna forget anyway.
And for those of you who did the snap, you can download the snap, and then you can Instagram it. Boom. All right, I've got 2 mics now, so you have to clap twice as much. Come on, let's go, people. If I can get our 2 sponsors, let's get TLD Law and Optima come up to the front. I was telling you that Lee is buying the beer, but I was actually lying. It's the sponsors that buy the beer. Everybody to come fill the seats? Yeah. Yes, I can get everybody to come fill the seats. Everybody here in the audience, please look back with me this way. I need everybody in the audience to say the following 2 words with me on the count of 3. It's going to be, hey, you. Not like, hey, you, the gold thing, you're running away with the bad joke. Okay, on the count of 3, I need you all to say, hey, you, and point this way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, you. Again, 1, 2, 3. Hey, you. Say, come in here, please. 1, 2, 3. Come in here, please. One more time. Come in here, please. Would you guys please come and fill the seats? You have plenty of time to talk later. I got instructions from the man that means everybody needs to sit down. And from here, this looks scattered. So Patrick, get your ass up in the front. Mark, you're at least mid-row. You, sir, this seat is taken, and it's not by you. You've got to scoot up. It's going to be okay. Give him a round of applause, guys. He's going to do it. If you clap, he'll stand up. See? Yeah. Thank you. All right, things are a lot more fun when you're sitting in the front. Yeah. You don't believe me because you're staying in the same chair. All right. And purses are okay, too. Look at this. I've got 3 beers. Yeah. It's like Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Little Bitty Bear. All right, let's go. Our sponsors. 2 sponsors. Yes, sir. Come on up and come on here. All right. Do we have anybody who's ever played football before? You, sir. Come up here, please. Thank you. Okay, TLD Law, you're going to give the spiel. Lauren left, so you're going to do the spiel. And you, sir, are going to throw out in increments of 5 seconds. Okay? Like in between her sentences. To the audience. Okay? Here we go.
We are TLD Law. We're a full-service law firm located over by the Orange County Airport. We're here to help you. We give a free 30-minute consultation, so just look us up on tldlaw.com. Send us an email.
And they're like the quarterback for your shit when stuff goes wrong. Got it? Everybody say quarterback on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Quarterback. Who loves football here? I don't, but I love these guys. Give them a round of applause. TLD Law, buying your drinks. You're fine. Stay here. I'm not sure what we're going to use you for. Come on, sir. Here you go. Now you have nuts. Throw your nuts into the audience, please.
They're good nuts. Good nuts. You guys can catch those. Good evening, everybody. My name's Daniel Galzo. I'm a managing director here in Orange County for Optimi. We're an IT executive search firm, and I know there's a lot to choose from in here from a career path, but we're a firm that puts more focus on the career candidate experience than the client. Our belief is if we earn the right to represent the best that the market has, then our clients come to us. So a lot of that is tactical. It's about finding passion. It's about finding your employment Shangri-La. So I appreciate your time tonight, and I appreciate everybody in OC Happy Hour putting this on. Come back and stop by the clubhouse. Thank you.
All right, give him a round of applause. Wait a minute. Have you bought Ryan's book yet?
I'm going to go buy it right now.
Right now. Give him a round of applause. He's going to go buy it. How many people, raise your hand if you've bought the book yet? Raise your hand if you spent a dime to come to this show tonight. Raise your hand if typically events cost $25 to $35. Raise your hand if typically events that give free alcohol don't really exist. Raise your hand if you're willing to make a commitment tonight to pay $31 to keep this man, Ryan, on a launch pad as he launches this crazy book where he bleeds from his heart helping you guys to become kick-ass. Does that sound okay? Yeah! Listen, writing a book is no easy feat. Being rock bottom to rock star is no easy feat. Are you going to buy the book?
Sure.
Go back and buy it. Give him a round of applause. No, go back and buy the book right now. Give him a round of applause. That's good. We have 250 books to sell tonight. And the person who buys the most gets some one-on-one time with Ryan. Yeah. Me too. Not that cool yet, but that's fine. So now we're going to segue. We're going to do a little fireside chat next to our fireside here. I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman over my radio show. If you guys are not notified, I've got a radio show at KUCI every Wednesday from 8 to 9 in the morning, and I interview amazing people that have a lot of great things to say to notify you about what's going on. So our next guest, how many people know who LeBron James is? Is there somebody else we can mention? Like another big name or something? Who knows David Hasselhoff? How many people have heard of Cleveland Hustles? Okay, 3 people. Cleveland Hustles is a new reality TV show that takes literally people in Cleveland and says, you got 90 days to figure this shit out, or this guy's going to dunk on top of you, right? All right, so our next guest came all the way. Make up something really far. Where'd you come from?
India.
This guy came all the way from India tonight. Oh my gosh, how special is this? And he was on my radio show, and we had a killer time. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a progressive clap for Kumar Arora. Clap, 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 clap. Faster, 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 faster. Stop. Say cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Say beers.
Beers.
Cheers. All right, let's sit down.
No Youngry?
Oh, yeah. How about you say young and everybody says gree?
Young. Gree. Nice, good job. Ryan.
Foldin.com.
There you go. I was thinking Ryan Blair, actually, but...
Shit.
Whoops.
RyanBlair.com. Let's try it again. Say Ryan.
Ryan.
Only do this now, but not later, okay? I say Ryan, you say Blair. Ryan. Blair. Ryan.
Blair.
I say Ryan, you say Follin. Ryan. Follin. Ryan.
Follin.
He's way more popular than I am at this point. All right, so we're going to sit down, and I'm going to take the notes that I haven't prepared, and I'm going to take off my shoes because we're at the beach. Do you mind taking your shoes off?
I'm with it.
Will everybody else take their shoes off if they feel so comfortable? We're at the beach here. Take your shoes off, sir. Yeah, take
Let's
your
build
shoes
a
off.
sandcastle.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, you might find out that I never wear matching socks, but I've solved a problem a long time ago. It's really hard to get 2 socks that match, so if you don't match your socks, you're good to go. Would you like to play some balls? Yay! How many times can we keep it in the air?
Nice.
That was 2. How many, wait, how many times do you think they can keep it in the air and then they're gonna clap if it works?
Let's go for 3.
3. 1, 2, 3, bonus. 4, bonus. 5, bonus. All right, clap 4 times, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. It's like the talking stick, but it's the ball. Tell us about yourself.
Well,
wait, the dreaded question. What do you do?
What do I not do?
Actually, I'm going to stop. What problems do you solve in the world? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what you do. I only care about the problems you solve, and I only care about those problems if I have that problem. What problems do you solve, sir?
Well, before we get to that, I actually wanted to leverage off of what Mike was saying earlier. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, you know, we get asked that question, what do you do for a living? Or as kids, you get asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my solution to that answer is, What all can we be while we're growing up? The reason I say that is because you look at Steve Jobs, you look at Elon Musk, you look at these guys, and they've done so much in their life, you know? Like, you can't actually define one great thing these people have done. Leonardo da Vinci, a great example. Painter, architect, designer, inventor. And I think that as humans, all of us are capable of doing more than just one thing. You don't have to just grow up and work a 9 to 5. You know, you can do so much more than that. And that applies to my own life because I work in nanoscience, I work in tech, I work in fashion, I work in entertainment, I'm on television.
I also noticed something. You have a microphone and you also have a lapel mic.
I know, I'm
You're
double fisting.
Can you guys turn up the lapel and let's see if that works? Say something. Tell us a good joke. Do you have a good clean joke or dirty joke?
I'm not Carrot Top, not like you. So
Oh, I'm not Carrot Top either. Can you turn the volume up a little bit more? That's it?
Yeah. You guys hear me? Yeah. Cool, perfect.
All right. So we've established that it's not really what you do, it's the multiple things that you do.
What all can you do while you're growing up?
What can you do while you're growing up? While you're hashtag Youngry.
Yeah, perfect.
Would you consider yourself Youngry?
I'd like to think so. Young and hungry.
What does Youngry mean aside, like for young and hungry? What does that mean for you? What are you Youngry for?
The future. I think everyone in this room, we represent the future. You know, whether it's changing the game, inventing something new, creating, you know, developing neighborhoods, or changing your local community. I think that's what we are. Youngry. We're the future.
We are for the future. Everyone say future! Future! These guys are maybe part of the future, right? I don't know how excited they are. Now tell us about this Cleveland Hustle, because obviously no one knows about basketball. They've never heard of any big names, and they don't watch Cleveland Hustle.
Let's make it easier. Have you guys heard of Shark Tank?
Yeah.
There we go. CNBC has now expanded into a portfolio of different shows. We got The Profit, we've got $1 Million Buyer, we've got American Greed, but there's another great show, executive produced by LeBron James. It came out about a month ago, called Cleveland Hustles. It's a mixture of Shark Tank meets The Apprentice. The idea is that we come into Cleveland and find ways to improve the local neighborhood. We find different entrepreneurs and we invest in them. So I'm actually one of the sharks on the show. We're now in episode 5 of 8, and it's an amazing feeling. You know, I'm actually the youngest investor on CNBC now, and I'm the first Indian American ever on television as an investor.
Give a round of applause for that. Very cool. So I just got like goosebumps. I'm sitting with a celebrity. This guy's on TV. He's the Youngry guy. Hello. What do you look for in an investment? And you can also tie in the structure of the show, because it's not like Shark Tank, right? It's a little bit more hands-on.
Right.
Tell us about that.
In the show specifically, we're looking for businesses that can open up right in your backyard. And that's the one big thing that we wanted to push, is that wherever you are, you don't have to travel all the way to Silicon Valley. You don't have to come all the way to New York. You can build something right here in your backyard. And that's a beautiful thing to know, that you can do something that can impact your friends, your family, and your local community. So on the show, you'll find, when you see the episodes, that our job wasn't just to invest in a great new startup. It was to do something that will create job growth, help the local community, and revitalize an entire neighborhood. So we brought in about 50 jobs in about 90 days. We invested over $2.6 million into the neighborhood, and it's going to obviously keep growing. There's going to be a ripple effect that the investments that we made will now help bring more investments into that same
So this is
place.
more than a Shark Tank pitch. It's actually, you're sizing them up, but it has that profit feel to it. But
right, there's a storyline. So you get to see what happens after the investment. And that's kind of the other half of the show, is kind of like Apprentice or The Profit, where we're actually down in the trenches with these businesses, trying to figure out how is it that we can not only grow them locally, but export these great, amazing businesses out of Cleveland.
What are some great, amazing businesses that you can start out of your back door?
I think as entrepreneurs, we're creators, and if you haven't come up with some unicorn idea, you might have a basic business that you can start that can also complement your family or your friends or something that they do. So
give us some examples. How many people here are entrepreneurs? Raise your hand. Okay.
Mostly, good.
Can I get an example? Who has a business? You raise your hand? Well, what's your business?
Right now, just as early stage and startup business.
You're an early stage startup business. That didn't answer my question at all. Who else has a business? Yes.
Film and video editing.
Okay, so film and video editing.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Video editing obviously can be used in every local community. And what you're doing, I know it sounds wrong of me to say, but it's not necessarily something super unique, but every ecosystem or local community needs something like that. You yourself are a great example of the backbone of America because you don't necessarily have to, what I'm saying is be a unicorn and create the next Uber. You could do something as great as be self-employed and have video production. That's a perfect example of someone who's Youngry and you're a hustler. That's perfect. And that's exactly what we looked for on the show, is to find great entrepreneurs that just need to scale their business and get it even bigger than what they know.
So the idea is that in a local market, you have opportunity for entrepreneurship that's not unicorn-based. It's more like a horse.
It's not a bad thing, is what I'm saying.
So we need, there's a bunch of local horses or stallions,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Or ponies, really. Now, what's the value of not going after a unicorn but shooting for a pony or a large mule or a Clydesdale?
It's the friendships and the people. I think that as an investor, it's cool to always, go by the books. But, if you've got a great heart and you've got a great story and you deserve it, then you should be on the show or you should get that investment. I think that a lot of times we watch Shark Tank, we forget that element of being human, Like, all you out there are doing something to make your life better.
How many people are doing something to make other people's lives better?
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not only an investor's job to recognize a good business, but you should also remember that you're doing something to impact your community and that family or that.
All right, so let's get to some practical tips.
Yeah.
How many people here would like some practical tips from a famous investor who's the youngest Native American to be on a
Indian American.
Indian American.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan Blair's going to talk about mistakes the whole time, okay? And I just made a mistake, and I'm going to grow from it. Can you please support me in my growth? Okay. On the count of 3, you tell me he's the first what?
Hey, you know what? It's okay, though, because I am a Cleveland Indian, so that's kind of close.
Oh, damn.
That's kind of close.
Searching for amazingness within mistakeness. I'm going to quote myself on that later tonight. Now, let's get some practical tips, right? You're interfacing with entrepreneurs that are successful, maybe that aren't, but they're riding horses in their neighborhood and they've written off the whole unicorn concept. What are maybe your top 3 tips? It could be the reverse of a mistake that you made. What are some tangible things people can leave with tonight?
That I look for in a business.
Yes.
Passion. Do you have the drive to keep going? I don't care if you've got a unicorn or you don't. Do you have the passion to keep going? The interest level. That's the first and most important thing. Sometimes you'll find that the most basic businesses can be driven by the most influential people, and they end up becoming successful. They're not ones to invent something new. And Facebook is an easy example. He wasn't the first to create the first social network, but he had the passion and the intuitiveness to figure that out. And here we are now, Same thing with Google. Google, same example. So passion, number 1.
Wait a minute. Everyone say passion. 1, 2, 3, passion. Passion. Be more passionate. Say it. Passion. This is what he's looking for. Number 1, say it. Passion. They're like almost passionate.
Creation. I think that as entrepreneurs, we are creators. That can apply in so many different ways, from video production to art, to branding, to marketing, to product development. You name it, we are creators. It's not about making money here. It's about making something. You can make anything and turn that into a business if you needed to. So that, to me, is very important, is do you have that way of being inventful in some ways? Can you create something? And always, obviously, if you make some sort of product, you can always pivot it in some ways, but you have to have that idea that I am a creator more than a businessman.
So do you like the word creation, or that's probably better than creator, because I'll probably get in trouble again. All right, so say passion, 1, 2, 3. Passion. Say creation, 1, 2, 3. Creation. You're just trying to make you guys remember this. So you're like, I don't really remember what went on except for passion, creation. And number 3.
The hustle.
Everyone say hustle. That was the worst hustle ever.
This is a little different from passion, but hustle to me is a completely different term. When you hear hustle, it's always about getting paid, having a good time, buying nice things, working really hard. But I don't look at it like that. I ask you, why do you hustle? Do you hustle for your family? Do you hustle for your love? Do you hustle for yourself? What's your purpose? Why do you do it? That to me is such a huge indicator of what makes an entrepreneur versus those guys who just post, private jets and hot girls on their Instagram. And I think that when you ask yourself that really difficult question on why you do what you do, that's super important. So it's hustle. It's got to be it. 1, 2, 3, hustle. Hustle. Good job.
All right, this is just like, when you call on a radio station, what are the 3 things that we're trying to do here? All together. Accelerate it so it's loud at the end.
Creation, hustle.
You are in their brains right now. Here's the thing though. All right, I've got passion. Like, oh, I can be really loud. Like, ooh, I'm smile a lot. And then, yeah, I've got a product. Look, it's a beach ball. And then hustle, like, look at me run. But there's somewhat an esoteric nature to those words. How do we take one step further, and what do you look for
After that?
Like, how do you determine that? How do you say, man, that guy's loud, he's not passionate. Ooh, that guy's passionate, he's like, what are some of these qualities that you look for? Let's step through them.
Beyond all those three.
No, those three, but how do you qualify them? Because if I were to say, are you passionate? Oh, obviously not. So I would say, like, the trick is we have these terms like, be passionate. You should create something. You should hustle. And the person's sitting there looking, going,
Ryan, how do you know when you're in love?
How do I know when I'm in love?
Yeah, how do you know? You can't answer that easily.
Okay, so
That's
I
kind of the
agree,
same
and
idea.
that's the challenge with the questions. If you're an entrepreneur and I'm mentoring you, be more passionate. Okay, hustle more. Okay, create something. What are some of the like human qualities that we can actually answer? So like, if I'm in love, sex is great. They're amazing to hang out with when we're not. It's they're attractive to me. Like all these tangible things. So for you, if we're talking about, let's choose any one of them. Say passion because that's maybe the most esoteric. What are some of the things? Is it the way that they're saying? Is it they're sweating when they're interviewing you?
It's not something you necessarily can find out immediately within one
So
meeting, but it's the same way of falling in love. You kind of just have a gut feeling that you know that this person knows what they're talking about. They've been in love with they've had that passion for this project for so long that they know this is the project I'm supposed to do. This is my calling in life.
So
I'll give you an example. So
yes.
I was 6 years old and I had an obsession with sunglasses. I just knew that I just loved sunglasses. In high school, I didn't realize, but I would design sunglasses. I would always draw them. College, same thing. I was learning just the idea of building them. I never thought that, oh, you know what, I can own a sunglass company. It never occurred to me until only just a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. I was like, you know what, I know all these different processes. What's to say I can't? I've always loved to do this. What's to say I can't make sunglasses and try to revolutionize that market? It's something that you just know because it's part of your gut. It's part of who you are. It makes up your DNA. And you can see that in an entrepreneur. You can't just all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm going to start this project because it's cool and it's the fun thing to do. You know because the person just like bleeds how they feel. You can hear that when I talk about sunglasses. It's not something that I just decided to do overnight. I love designing sunglasses. I love creating sunglasses with materials no one's ever seen before. And I love the fact that I'm changing the market. And that shows that I care about my industry. I care about my product. That's kind of the way you would know if someone's passionate about their business.
So
you know, the gentleman with the video production, ask yourself the same question. Why do I love it? You know, is it an art form to me? Is it something I grew up with? Is it is it something that I'm changing my local area or my local community? Those are the questions I would ask you. Those are questions you should ask yourself on why you do what you do. That's how you know when someone's passionate about their business.
And I love this because I asked for a direct answer, and the indirect answer is the correct answer, which is more specific than you think. If you want an investor to fall in love with you, they have to see that you're in love with the thing that you've created with passion, and you've got to be hustling. Again, just as hard as it is to determine if you're in love, when you're in love, you know. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're not in love, that's maybe why you're not getting the funding or the traction that you need. So go back to what you created, make sure that you have the passion for it, and make sure that you have the hustle to continue to do it. I think that's what you're kind of saying, right?
That's exactly it.
There we go. Let's give a round of applause for our special guest. What do you think of the importance of buying books?
It's very important. We should be reading every day.
Have you, Ryan was on the radio show with us, and we had a fun time with it. But how important is it to learn from others?
I think it's super important. You can only learn so much with what you know and who you hang out with and the websites you read. You have to learn from other people's experiences. You have to learn from other people's cultures. Maybe
even if you get it wrong.
Maybe Native American, if you want to. But you have to always meet new people and experience what they know because that's what we do as humans. You know, we are one of the only creatures here that have the ability to communicate. Let's make use of that. Let's learn from each other. Let's find out what you did, what I did, what all you guys did. If we don't, we're never going to know. It's going to be a problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the hustle of Cleveland. I dropped my phone, but can I take a stage selfie with you?
Let's do it. Let's do one with everybody. From here.
We're gonna do it like that. But this side is a little bit more crowded, so you can sit over here. You guys can come over. We're gonna ignore this side over here, just because All right, here we go. Make some noise in the background. Yeah! All right, I like it. That was good. Ladies and gentlemen, are you gonna be around tonight?
I'm actually leaving in a little bit.
Okay,
so.
Perfect intro to how do we find you, how do we get in touch with you? If somebody wants to learn more about what you've got.
My social media is kaurora007. That's Karora 007. Website is kumar-aurora.com. And if you want to see me on TV, we air every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. New episode comes out this Wednesday.
Is it a good episode?
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
Oh, give him a round of applause. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for taking your shoes off. All right. What happened over here? Did we lose people?
I was pretty loud.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll just pretend. Let me get our next two sponsors. Can I get Cisco? Let's go. Yeah, you with the beer. Come on. Get somebody up here.
CISO Share, First Republic, and Phoenix.
CISO Share, First Republic, and Phoenix. All right. Now, believe it or not, I'm actually a sponsor of the show as well. And as they're going to come up, I'm going to tell you a sentence that's going to burn a hole in your heart. Your business means nothing if no one knows who you are. Your business means nothing if no one knows who you are. Have you ever built a company and you focus on their branding and then the company fails and now you're at zero? I'm a big believer in the personal brand. And so I've got Influence Tree. InfluenceTree.com, we've created a course that helps you learn how to brand yourself. And I am the Ginger MC, hashtag Ginger MC. Don't be so shy. Give these guys a round of applause because they're shy.
How's it going, guys? My name is Walter with Phoenix Electronic Recycling. This is Josh.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Josh Griffith. This is, like Walter said, it's Phoenix Electronic Recycling. Who here has to send out an email, make a phone call, do anything on their computer at all? Everybody raise your hand who has to do that. All right, so basically what we do is we go into a company, small or large, and we will assess what they need by just simply walking around. Whenever we're in there, we'll actually go in and say, hey, do you need a server? Do you need a computer? Do you need a monitor? Do you need anything like that? We actually provide that to them at a very low and competitive rate. That's one of our main focuses. Another focus is the electronics recycling part. We go into a company or into just a regular customer that we offer them any type of, we offer them free service for electronic recycling. So let's say you have an old phone, an old iPad, an old server, anything like that, that you want to give away and you don't know what to do with it, because by California law, you have to recycle it properly. If you don't, you can be fined. So what we do is we go in there and we'll actually recycle it for them at no cost. We drove just recently, about 2 weeks ago, we drove to San Francisco and we ended up retaining, what was it, a 16-foot truck, and we filled up an entire truck of nothing but electronics from companies that they have no idea what they need to do with it. So that's where we come into play, and we really help out these companies because we're helping out the environment too. I mean, that's really our big focus. We really want to make sure that whenever we go in to a company, we go into it with the mindset of making sure that we're helping out the environment. We're making sure that we're making our slogan is setting the standard for a greener future.
How do we find you?
Through PhoenixECycle.com.
What is it?
PhoenixECycle.com.
I can't spell Phoenix. It's either the I or the E.
All right, so it's PhoenixECycle.com.
And where are you tonight?
We're right in the back.
You point to?
Right in the back.
Ladies and gentlemen, give them a big round of applause.
And there's
They're there. They're saving the planet.
Our tech is right back there. So if you have any technical questions, feel free to ask him if you have any questions about your business, anything as far as recycling goes. Please come to us. We will take care of you.
They're gonna answer all your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, recycle, reduce, reuse, change the loop with your electronic devices. All right, next. Come on. Did anybody hear that 500 million people got their stuff breached recently? Yeah. Well, are you gonna solve that problem?
Yes. So I know you were talking about books. So one of my favorite books to read is the CISO Share Handbook, because if you're a small company or a large organization, this will help you every step of the way in your security program. So we're the CISO Share company. We're over there by the bar. I know you guys have been coming up there. So come up for any questions, and we would be more than happy to answer any questions. If you want to just set up a meeting to come meet us to explain a little bit more about what we do, we will be more than happy to set up a lunch with you and talk about our security program.
A secure lunch. It's very safe.
Very.
Who has a small or medium business that is scared about security right now? Raise your hand. This guy right there. Go give him the book. Congratulations! I just gave her book away. I don't even know if it's for sale. All right. Have you guys not drinking enough beer tonight? Maybe a little more wine? All right. Well, our next fireside chat, you are going to get to know a little bit more about the man, the myth, the legend, interviewed by another man, myth, legend. Who here loves accounting? No one was supposed to say anything for the first time tonight. Well, has anybody ever heard of something called JFDI? Who knows what JFDI is? Shout it out. Just fucking do it. Everyone together, say it. Just fucking do it. Well, right now, we're going to do a fireside chat with the man who started the Just Fucking Do It accounting system. Guess what he does? He just gets it shit done. And he's going to get this fireside chat done with the one, the only Mr. Lee Decker. Put your hands together. Now, here's the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a purse. That's cool. You people that are in the back, we're going to politely ask you to come to the front. Don't make me be an angry ginger. Gingers are supposed to be fun and lively. We need you to fill the front because it's a little lopsided. So it's okay. You come on up in the front. Yes, give him a round of applause. He's looking on his phone so he doesn't think that I see him. Go up to the front. It's okay. And go up to the front, please. Would you go? Yeah, give this guy a round of applause. And Patrick, what are you doing back here? I already sent you up there earlier.
I was waiting for him.
That's fine. Go up to the front, both of you. You're scolded. Entrepreneurial slap on the wrist. Good job, good job, good job. Yay, clap for him. You ungrateful cedars. All right. Lee, are you ready? Amir Marmar, are you ready? Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Amir Marmar and Lee Decker. Progressive clap. Let's do it. Bam, 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 bam.
Hello.
You should have said cheers.
Cheers.
Beers.
Beers.
Cheers.
Ryan.
Bolin.
Blair.
Hey everyone. So I'm gonna ask you a favor. If you're standing in the back, I would really appreciate it if you came and filled the seats. Our speakers came long ways to be here. It's a little disrespectful. We're asking really nicely. I want to make sure that we all feel comfortable. The evening's gonna get better. I promise. Ryan Blair's gonna steal the show. It's gonna be amazing. If you could come, you're standing in the back. I'm not gonna start unless you guys are showing some respect here. I'd really appreciate it.
Well said. Let's wait till all that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. So Lee,
I'm gonna wait a minute.
You want to wait?
No,
You want me
I'm
to go-
serious. I mean, if you're standing in the back and chatting and talking, this is a really important time. We have the programming is getting better. I'd really appreciate it if you came, sat down, paid attention. I know you're here to meet people. I promise there will be more time to do that. This is the only time I've ever really asked anything. So
Lee, is it easy to put one of these things on?
Hey Randy, I see you over there. Can you come on, buddy?
Come on, hey, you guys, please, would you enter this way? You have tons of time to talk. Yeah, no, I'm looking at you guys. Will you go sit down, please? We would love for you to sit down.
I'm
yes,
asking
thank you.
from the
Lee's
bottom
asking
of my
you.
heart. I love every single one of you.
Come on.
And I feel like we have a good message here. And
we love you, Lee!
Yeah. Look at me. I'm like shedding a tear. I just want to make sure that I feel the
Hashtag
love
tear
too.
shed.
This is why we love you, by the way.
I see a whole group right there. They're just ignoring me completely.
They're talking to our last speaker.
All right, are we ready?
What are you
I'm not
guys doing?
starting.
Could you go in there and sit down? Just to like, it'd be really like, I know, but you can come back in like 30 seconds. So just, everybody's looking at me, and if it's like if my dog ignores me, but I don't even have a dog. I know, but it's an exercise to sit down. But there's not even a table here. There's not even a table here, so how would you even stand up? Look at this, can we just sit down real quick? Oh, perfect, give it up. He's going for the white seats. Yeah. And this is a prep, because when Ryan comes out, we need you to get like Ryan crazy. It's exciting.
This is really important. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in your lives. I know you take valuable time to come here and be with us. And I really, really appreciate it. I don't know if you know, but I'm very grateful for each and every single one of you that shows up. It makes my life worth it. This is why I do what I do, is to see your beautiful faces. I love every one of you. This is great. So I'm not sure what we're supposed to talk about. I think Amir has some questions. Thank you. I appreciate this.
All right, well, now that we probably have everyone's attention, we should probably start us to, how did you start OC Tech Happy Hour?
When I moved to Orange County, I didn't have any friends. I was working on some startups. I was broke, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 6 months straight. I didn't have many options, and I started to find a community of people, and we started to get together having beers at a bar, and it started to grow from there. And I found my friends. I found my people. You're my people. I work 7 days a week. I put in long hours, and it's all worth it when I get to meet another person that's willing to do the same thing. It's really a nice thing.
Woo!
What was the biggest motivator to do like a meetup for you, like to bring people together, or what? What was the biggest motivator is to do the OC Tech? So yeah, you kind of stumbled on it, right? And you put a lot of hard work, but why OC Tech Happy Hour? What's the message?
I love beer. Yeah, I love beer. I love technology, and just putting those two together was a pretty simple concept, and doing it where I lived was also a pretty simple concept, and it just kind of worked. I don't know how it got to where it got to today. I don't know if you know, but we have 4,300 members. That makes us like the biggest tech meetup group in Orange County. That's significant, and you guys did it. I didn't do anything. Yeah. Large entrepreneur meetup. So even the broader category. I mean, that didn't happen by accident. That happened because you're all telling your friends about it and doing something. I can tell that you're hungry to do something. We all want this to happen. Some of us want to be, rich, go get the money, but others really want to see the ROI on that emotional investment. Why is it worth it? Why did I go struggle and put it all? You ever have one of those all-in moments? You just roll the fucking dice and say, I'm all in. I've done it.
How much time did you spend in the beginning versus maybe like now that you already got like a lot of traction kind of going with this thing? Was it a lot harder, you feel, to just from the concept to get it off the ground, or is it a lot harder now that you already, this is pretty cool. I've been to like a few meetups and they fucking suck. So this is pretty badass. And free food and drink. So I haven't seen even an environment that looks like this, and TVs and some good energy, good people. But as far as like the work, was it a lot harder at the beginning, or is it a lot harder now?
It gets harder. There's more time, but I'll tell you why it's worth it. My wife will tell you I don't stop working. I'm always, and she's so supportive. She loves the hell out of me. I don't know why. She's beautiful, Taylor. I love you, sweetie. You might notice that I've never charged you to be here. It's always been free. And so I hustle and I work with these amazing community partners that are willing to put together funding to make this happen. And companies like First Republic over there, hey Alan. I mean, just the amount of support that these local businesses have shown for our community is overwhelming. Like, we wouldn't even exist if these people hadn't come to the party. And that takes a lot of time to maintain those relationships. Oftentimes, I'm putting my personal reputation on the line. I'm literally trading consulting hours if I have to. And it's worth every single minute of it.
And JFDI, right?
And JFDI.
Just fucking doing it.
Yeah.
So you're kind of deemed like this crowdfunding expert. So you got obviously other stuff that's on your plate. So you want to tell us a little bit about that? Because that ties into...
Does anybody here know about crowdfunding? Do they know what that is?
Why don't you explain it? Because there's definitely some different forms of crowdfunding, right?
So
there's equity.
there's two different sides to it. There's two platforms that are the most popular right now on the non-equity side. There's Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and these places started as a way for entrepreneurs to throw their ideas up there and to collect funds from a bunch of different people that believe in it. And unfortunately, a few people have really just fucked it up by making millions and then not shipping their product. It's a whole shit show out there. So what I am aiming to do is bring more transparency to crowdfunding. I built my whole company on it, and it's all about quality campaigns, using crowdfunding for good, not just to get rich and cash out. And on the flip side, there's equity crowdfunding, and this is pretty recent. This just came about. You don't really have to go to big venture capitalists or do big angel rounds anymore. You can go on crowdfunding, and it's very easy to get started.
So you basically help people launch their campaigns and get set up for raising money, right? And is it more like a creative marketing perspective, or what's like your role?
So I hope I'm not really offending any investors that are in the audience, but I think the old ways of funding startups, I think it's dead. I don't think it's going to be around for very much longer. A lot of it's been democratized, and I can go and invest in campaigns. I'm not an accredited investor. I don't have millions of dollars, right? But I can go put my money where my mouth is and back things that I believe in now. And that is the American way. Do you guys realize that we live in America? This is the best fucking country in the world. Where else can you survive on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and make it up? Like, you can't do that. You can't do that anywhere else in the world. You just can't.
Well, Nutella sandwiches too. I love Nutella, so
He likes Nutella. Yeah.
So
by the way, Amir and I have become pretty good friends, and he started out as a sponsor of the group, and over time we've developed a really good relationship. I was just at his wife's birthday over the weekend, and by the way, congratulations to Laura.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming over, guys. There was always free drinks, so maybe that's like the theme. He said he likes beers.
Am I
There wasn't
boring you
beers.
guys?
He was not
Am I
coming.
boring? Is this like informative? I hope I'm helping you guys.
Let's stick on the crowdfunding. Like, if you're helping people like launch and stuff, what's some of the biggest successes and raises that some of your clients and people that you directly help with? What's like some dollar amounts that you guys helped raise?
So we consulted early on for a campaign called Bagel, and Bagel's a smart tape measure. They went on Kickstarter. They came into our office. They asked us for advice. They went on to raise over $1 million for a smart tape measure. Like, who the hell has innovated the tape measure in 100 years? Nobody, right? That's crazy. But now we have a better tape measure. That's great. I get to help people with the strangest stuff, and it's really fulfilling because I see people living out their dreams. And if you decide to go use one of these platforms and you make it, please don't screw over the average person. Ship the product. Do whatever you have to do. I mean, what kind of world do you want to live in, right? Seriously.
So just don't end up like on American Greed, right? Basically.
I don't know what that means.
That's a show where like Bernie Madoff and those guys get featured on.
Don't fuck it up for everybody. Come on, man. It's a good thing. This is why we can't have nice things.
And then obviously there's also like the equity side of crowdfunding that's up and coming right now.
I mean it's great. We're working on a few really cool equity crowdfunding campaigns. I get to do a fundraising campaign for a basketball team. I mean, just mind blowing. Same family did the Harlem Globetrotters. I'll tell you more about it I'm under an NDA, but I can give you some details. We're doing a big solar energy company. I mean, just the kind of democratized investing that's going on is really incredible. And I recently invested in Youngry's crowdfunding campaign. They're on Republic. I was able to make an investment. I'm not going to disclose how much. It was enough.
How many zeros are in there?
Did it have a comma? That's the most important question. Any other question?
No, but like the equity crowdfunding is different from the other, just basically because you do become an owner of the company, right?
Yeah,
you don't
you can
get a
have
product.
100 owners of a company and your first round of investment. That's crazy. That's America. That's everything. That's the reason why we're here. That's entrepreneurship. That's startups.
So I could just own a piece of the next Harlem Globetrotters.
Exactly. You can own a piece of a basketball team. I mean, who wants... So the part of this, it's really interesting. They're going to be giving cards that say co-owner right there. I mean, it's really cool. Who wants to own a basketball team? It's prestigious.
I'm in. Just show me where the link is. And I know we're also here, and it's Youngry and Ryan's in the back selling books, and the message, like coming from the bottom and stuff. Do you have like a relatable experience? I mean, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but something that really drives you, like to really, work, the 5, 6, 7 days. I know me and you are on calls on weekends and stuff.
I have something to prove. I really do. I never knew my father growing up. He was in and out of prison my whole life. Mom was on hard drugs, in and out of her entire life. So I sought mentorship, and I have something to prove to the world. I want to make an impact. I'm not in this to make money. I promise. I just want to help people.
And that's honestly like in the world that we live in and the generation, the millennials, that's what it is all about. It's about just being able to solve that problem. You're not driven to just be rich.
By the way, my mom's been clean for like 7 years, so it's not a problem anymore.
Thanks for clearing that up. How's your relationship with her since we're on this?
Oh, love my mom. She's coming with us to Hawaii on June 3rd. I'm going to do a half Ironman. I'm not ready yet, but I'm going to get there.
So how do you balance everything? Obviously, you're married now. You're working a lot.
Just wake up early. Why sleep in? Why watch TV for 5 hours at night? Just wake up early. I invented an extra day. I just started waking up earlier and getting into the office earlier. And I shit you not, I invented an extra day in my week. And you can do it too. I turned 7 days into 8 days.
When were you waking up prior to this? Just curious.
So, like 3 years ago, I couldn't wake up before noon. I was just getting like super high, super drunk, couldn't wake up before noon. And I thought, why am I not more successful? It's because I sucked.
So the lesson is just wake up early and get more shit done.
Just fucking do it, right?
NJFDI.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, Mr. Foland.
Yeah, Mr. Foland. I don't want to be confused with Mr. Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Because he is coming up pretty quickly.
So I feel like I've been pretty real with you guys. Please feel free to be real with me. I don't want to mess around. Just tell me who you are. Tell me your story. I send 100 emails a week. Reply to like any one of those, and it goes directly to me, and I will always respond. If it's not within a day, it'll be within 2 days. Whatever I can do, just let me know. I will help you. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Amir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and as we make this transition, let's have First Republic Bank come up and do their thing.
Good job, my man.
These guys talked about their voice, and leave those in the chairs if you can. Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Decker. Mrs. Decker. I've got kind of a cool project going on that I need your help with. Your voice. I've got a TEDx LA project going on, a city experiment, and I am collecting voices. I don't care what your voice is, but I'm collecting it. I'm trying to collect 1,000 voices by December 2nd when the big TEDx LA show goes down. So if you can remember this, I want you to go to cityofspeakers.com and I want you to give me your voice. What's going on? What are you thinking, but what are you not saying? What are your thoughts on entrepreneurship? What's anything? I'm trying to collect 1,000. And if you're interested in this project, you want to see me, come talk to me. We're on all the social media at City of Speakers, and I would love to hear your voice just as much Lee would. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hear the voice of First Republic. Put your hands together for First Republic.
Thank you. I'm Alan. This is Pia. Again, we work for First Republic. We are a service-based company that happens to be a bank. We are very experienced with dealing with entrepreneurialism as well as business owners. If you would like to learn more about how we can help you and your business grow, please come visit us in the back. We've got these great wine openers for y'all.
All right, good. Round of applause. That's cool. But I have a question. What is it that they do?
They're a bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are a bank. Are they a bank that likes startups?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So much so that we offer 12 months of free banking for startups.
Whoa! 12 months free banking for startups. No strings attached. Good job. Clap these guys down the aisle the opposite way. And Lee, do we have our other sponsor that we want to bring up? Where'd he go? Lee is out there talking. Oh, yes, no? You want to pitch for him?
Yeah. Do we have Ian or Kevin still here from OC WebKings? Hey Ian, do you want to give him just a few seconds? So if you need help building your app, these guys can even do it for you. So Ian, are you grabbing Kevin or? Yeah. And don't worry, the best part of the show is about to arrive. When Ryan comes up, this guy is just extremely influential. You're gonna love hearing from him. Ian.
Yeah, so we're with OC WebKings. I originally started working for OC WebKings. I was building an app with them. I fell in love with the company, and so now I work with them. They're killer guys. I've worked with offshore teams before. I also have a degree in computer science, so I know my stuff. But when it comes to the full kind of turnkey solution for design, development, getting your stuff out there, and then scaling it. These guys are really professional. They're a local team and no offshore, none whatsoever. And so if you need an app built and you want the full solution, OC WebKings can do it for you. And Kevin here is the CEO, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to him.
Yeah. Hey, I wasn't expecting to be up here, so I had nothing prepared. So you got about a minute. Good thing I had a beer. But the other thing is we're happy to have anybody come in and strategize with us, so we don't charge for that. So if you have like an idea and you just want to come in and talk to us about it, we're happy to hang out with you and try to come up with a minimum viable product for you. And we'll also be happy to prepare a free proposal for you and let you know how much it's going to cost and how much time it will take to make. And yeah, as he said, we do websites, web apps, and mobile apps, and we like to do design development and scaling as well. So we'll help you get traction and get users into your app as well.
Don't you just love programmers? Yeah. All right, thank you. You guys are done. Congratulations. All right. I'll take that. I'll take this. All right. Now, I know you guys have been a little quiet and soft, and that's fine. But it's not fine from this point going forward. Get your phones out so you can be paparazzi. The hashtag that Ryan would like you to use is RB2RS. That's rock bottom to rock star. There's maybe only a handful of that which has been used with that hashtag, and he wants to see how many he can get tonight. So, along with hashtag OCTHH, I want to encourage you, if you forget it, think rock star, that's RS, the number 2 RB. This is a big deal for this guy coming in here tonight. And we want to bring him in with a crazy amount of noise and laughter and clapter. And we're going to make it progressive. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to progressively clap up Ash, and then we're going to outdo that by tenfold to progressively bring in Mr. Ryan Blair. Is that okay, yes or no? Is that okay, yes or no? Progressive clash for App. Progressive clap for Ash. Ready? Boom, 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 boom. Cheers! Beers! Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to meet an entrepreneur who has been down in the bottom. He's been in the bottom of the bottom. He's been down low, but he has risen.
It's amazing. I say you're amazing. Jeez.
Thanks for interrupting me. He has been to the rock bottom, but by making mistakes over and over and learning from those mistakes over and over and sharing with you, he's helping you go from whatever your rock bottom is right now to a rock star. Not only a rock star for you, but for the world, because we've established that if you're not making a difference for someone else in this world, it doesn't matter what you're doing. So he has made a difference in this world tonight because you're going to buy his book after you're inspired. He's going to sign it afterwards. Let's get a seriously slow progression clap. Follow my lead. Are you ready for this, yes or no? Yes. Ready? Clap, 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 clap. Ryan, come on, clap, clap. Ryan, come on, clap, 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 clap. Faster, 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 faster. Go all the way up here. There you go. Look at him. Go, yes. Hashtag RV2RS.
Thanks, brother.
Yes.
Do I get a mic or something like
Oh, we had sent you with a mic, but you can have this. I think that's better.
Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, no, there's one here too.
Well, good, I get one as well.
A hype man like him, I mean, this is amazing. The most uncomfortable thing I get to do is be introduced at these types of events. Because, thank you.
But here's something even better. Ready? You guys, don't make me disappointed. Ready? I want you to say cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, wait. Try it again, but be more confident.
Cheers. 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 Beers. Cheers. All right.
On the 1, 2, 3.
Say your first name.
No, you're supposed to say your first name. All right, on the count of 3, because mine are first name, but you guys know what to say afterwards. Really loud. 1, 2, 3, Ryan!
Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate it. I figured you guys are here to learn something and make some money, but I appreciate the cheers and beers. I had a few glasses of wine before this, so if you have any questions whatsoever, that's where I'm at my best. I'm not going to give you a speech here today. I've learned a lot, and I'll go over a little bit of details on that. But I'm best when it's Q&A format. I see Chad there. Who else? I see some people in the house here, right? So thank you guys for coming. It's a big honor to me. I'm going to tell you about how I've reinvented myself. I'm going to walk you through, how I've built a company to nearly $2 billion in sales and sold it for $792 million and done about $1 billion in exits, and all that stuff doesn't really matter. You guys probably don't care to hear about that stuff, do you? Yeah, we want to hear about it. Yeah, okay, there you go. I got an entrepreneur in the room here. By show of hands, how many of you entrepreneurs, okay? By show of hands, how many will not show your hands no matter what question I ask you? There's a bunch of you in the room here, right? I heard earlier when Ryan was doing an introduction, he's like, how many of you ever had a rock bottom moment? I was listening, and nobody had a rock bottom moment. Statistically, I think some of you are analytical. I want to challenge your math on that subject, because I'm a math guy, and nothing to lose. The path was all math was a big quote of mine. I think every single one of us either has had one, and if you haven't had one, you're going to get one, right? Or you're going to have a family member that's had one. I certainly have had my fair share of them. That said, I embrace adversity. I mean, it's my best friend. It really is. And I'll share with you guys. My mother was in a coma for 2 years, and right now, we are giving her end-of-life regimen. She woke up by the grace of God, and as we speak, I'm getting a call from the doctor to talk about me going to see her because I got a day or two left. Now, many of you might say to yourselves, well, why am I not there, right? And the reason why I'm not there is because my mother would have it no other way than for me to fulfill my purpose and to make her proud in this life and the next life. And I share that with you only because I know how to get back up after you get knocked down. I've learned how to compartmentalize these types of situations so I can be here with you and be present and be able to go back home to her and have that challenge and deal with it. And I've somehow figured out how to go through all that and generate $1 billion. So I might have something to teach. Now, you guys were all talking out there earlier. Now I got some people listening. That's awesome. All right, now, I'm not this intense the whole time. I think I just started that way. I'm going to share with you guys my passion project, and I'm going to go into my book a little bit, right? For those of you who understand the publishing industry, you make $0 writing or selling a book. Right? I've given all of the proceeds of my books to charity. I share that with you because I need you guys to support me with this book. I really do, because I believe it is my purpose, and I'll walk you through a little bit about that, to help people weather, their own personal journeys. Perhaps as mine is a narrative, but they won't necessarily make the same mistakes I did, because I teach my mistakes transparently, and I made a bunch of them, so that way other people don't make the same ones I did. And I'll talk about venture capital. I have a fund called #1. We've had some pretty prominent investments. By show, everybody in here looks like you're relatively near the millennial age. I'm kind of the big brother to the millennials. By show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of a company called Elite Daily? 2 people. All right, come on, give me some show here. Few of you. So I'll share with you about how I discovered the entrepreneurs of Elite Daily, how I invested with them, and how I helped sell the company for $47 million to Daily Mail. But it was against my will that they sold for $47 million. And the reason why I'm investing in Ash is because they sold too cheap too soon. But I can't be mad at a bunch of young guys that sold their company for $47 million, right? But I was there to make billions. I will tell you, if you're an entrepreneur in the room and you want me to invest in your company, I'm happy to receive your business plan. I'm not a good investor in a number of things, and I've learned not to invest in certain categories, like fashion, as you guys can tell. Yeah, I've lost a few. I generally make money, but I don't have the venture capital mindset that most people would think. I'm not looking for a 5X or a 10X. I'm looking for my money to get a great return, certainly around what I get in my real estate portfolio or some of my other diversification strategies like muni bonds and so forth. I'm looking for that type of return, but I'm most importantly looking for an education that I can take back into the portfolio, and then it can benefit the accretively benefit the companies within it. And I'll talk to you a little bit about some of my investments. There's a couple that are going to make the news pretty soon here. One, today I signed the paperwork for a Series A that I was an early on investor in, where our Series A is $30 million at $105 million valuation, right? Any of you guys seeking to raise money at all? Okay, only 2 people. So I won't talk about that at all in the room. I will talk to you guys a little bit. Ash, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A,
Yeah, right after this, yep.
I'm just going to run through real quick, like 6 or 7 principles in the book. And then Ash is going to do all the questions, and hopefully we're going to do a Q&A, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I invested in him, and I choose my investments wisely. So real quick here. My first book, Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain. Did any of you read it by chance? You know of it? It's how I went there. Thank you, 2 people. It's how I went from gang member to multimillionaire. Now, a lot of people, they see that and they go, well, you were a gang member? And the answer was, yeah, I was a gang member. I lost my father at 13 years old. I'm the youngest of 6. My older sister is still involved in that lifestyle. She actually has made it onto the New York Times, she's made it onto the most wanted list. I made it onto the New York Times list. She made it onto the most wanted list a number of times, and she's still at it, my older sister. Her father's half Latin. The neighborhood that we were forced to move to after my dad disappeared at 13 was a gang neighborhood. And what do they do with a scrawny little white kid looking for a male role model? They get that kid to do the work that they didn't want to go to jail for. And that was what I, was forced into at a young age. Now, I share that story proudly. And in fact, I had a conversation with someone here today, I don't know if he's in the room, yep, there you are, my man, about how often people don't share their rock bottom moments. And it is my belief that it is those things that you've done, whether they were happened to you, Great Recession, check, right? Breakup, check. I'm a single father. I have a son with special needs. He has autism, check, right? Mother in a coma, check. Those are the things that have made me a great business person because I've learned from them, I've accepted them, and I've grown from them. And that's why I share transparently the moments that I've been through at rock bottom have had me well, they've hit me. I've been knocked down, but I've somehow figured out a way to get back up quickly, and I've somehow figured out a way to get better and grow from them, and to actually turn them into a powerful meaning as opposed to a disempowering meaning. And I see all too often entrepreneurs, to give you guys a reference, like my company Visalis, I sold it in 2012. We had about 100,000 entrepreneurs that sold our products in 15 countries. And I would see entrepreneurs go through a divorce, lose a loved one, get cancer, whatever it is, and destroy their family's business. Right? And you can't do that, right? Like my belief system is my family's business has to run no matter what, because especially because I have a son with special needs, like he needs an education regardless of what happens with my mother tonight, tomorrow, the next day, or otherwise. I didn't want to go really deep and emotional. I wanted to be more analytical with you because I have kind of two states. I'm a Cancer. Half of me is analytical and the other half of me is emotional. So I wanted to talk to you guys where you're at because I see a lot of smart minds in the room here. I'm going to share with you some philosophies, and I'll share with you some of the data points that I've utilized to build some of the tech companies I've been involved in and some of the other things. So number one, everybody has their own set of rules, and their rules don't rule you. I learned this from Steve Jobs. I didn't know him personally, but I studied him inside and out as a young entrepreneur when I started my career in technology in 1996. I had a Next system that powered my phone system. I see a smile in the room here. The documentary Pirates of the Silicon Valley, that changed my life. It was on the PBS, not the one where they acted it out, but the PBS documentary. When I saw Elon Musk, and he wasn't Elon Musk at the time, he had a McLaren delivered. And I thought to myself, I want a McLaren, right? Do you remember that, Ash?
Yeah.
So I share with you my roots and everything in my background are more engineering focused than you would think, based on perhaps the branding and other things that happen out there. And I became an engineer because I used to steal computers when I was in the gang. I liberated a bunch of them. Now that said, I've since repented. My first company was called 24/7 Tech. If your network's a wreck, call 24/7 Tech was my marketing byline. I realized that's not scalable because I had to take calls on my beeper at 24 hours a day to go fix people's computer problems. Any of you guys remember Novell 311 or there's one, all right, or the blue screen of death? My first job in tech was moving tapes from one device to another, and then and re-indexing servers. I used to write code in a language called Clarion. If you guys remember Clarion, there we go. Now I got some fans in the room here, going old school. There we go, right? Yeah, I wrote a few programs, and then I started writing in the commodities industry. I actually got my Series 3. Was that? Cobalt. Yeah, I was, when we had the Y2K fiasco, 24/7 Tech was heavily involved in that. And I got to take a job with the United States Navy in Port Hueneme. They have a naval defense base there. And they asked me to do a survey as to the commercial availability of wireless technology for the Navy. In the survey, I found that there was no commercial availability. The problem that they were trying to solve, and I'm on a tangent here, was they had to send a helo out to the ships that they would shoot at, and they'd have to transmit the data to determine whether or not the missile struck or was defended against. And so we built a wireless network from Oakland, California, all the way down to San Diego at Sky Pipeline. It later became NextWeb, which later became Cove. All right, so I think I've given you all the credibility. I've learned a lot of stuff from the business school of hard knocks. I dropped out of high school my freshman year. I could never pass a math proficiency test or an English test. I couldn't even spell the word entrepreneur until recently. And I write about the subject, right? It's a tough word. So I learned these things kind of a different way than most people. And so I think it might give you a unique perspective. Perhaps you did get your degree and take the traditional path. I probably have 50 doctors that work for me right now that have PhDs in my R&D team. So give you an understanding. I understand whether and I value very much if you've taken the traditional path and you might have spent, $1 million on your degree or whatever the case is. I ended up finding that I had a proficiency for computer sciences, and I leveraged affirmative action because I was a foster kid and I was awarded the court to get into a 4-year university, and then I started my first company within it. So I hope that just gives you some context about some data points. But I think the most important things that you learn in business, they don't teach you in business school. They teach you by failure. And I've failed a number of times. Even after I had my success and even after I established values, I didn't always live to them. And that's the beautiful thing about values. It's like you put them out there and then you're accountable to them, but you're not always living them. And I'll tell you a case in point, right? The United States government was founded on this thing called a Constitution, right? And the Constitution was pretty much about equality. The people who wrote that Constitution, were they all about equality? No, probably not, right? They didn't believe women should vote. Slavery was okay back then. But guess what? Certain individuals saw those values and started steering us in that direction. And now we're more about equality, and I really believe in that subject. I share that with you because I wrote Rock Bottom to Rockstar as a declaration of my values, and I want to live to those values because I've learned the hard way. I've made some rockstar mistakes I'll share with you later when Ash interviews me. The other thing is that I want to share with you, just a lesson found on page 41, is I always get asked this question: what would the old Ryan Blair tell the young Ryan Blair? And I always answer like, well, one, not to talk in the third person, right? That's probably what Donald Trump kind of does that. I'm not a big fan. Two, the old Ryan Blair would tell the young Ryan Blair, pay attention to your timeline. I've made a lot of bad decisions because I didn't know that I was going to become, a multimillionaire. I had no idea. But if you look at, when I started my career in 1996, I'm 20 years, in October it'll be 20 years. It looks like a stock chart, right? There's ups and downs. There's events outside my control, like the Great Recession. And then there's a hell of a lot of things that were inside my control that I failed to do, like manage my cash, grow as a leader, that gave me some down years. And then I got some runs, and it looks like a hockey stick, where I went from, in 2009, my company did $9 million in sales. In 2012, I did $624 million in sales and $120 million in cash and $97 million in EBITDA. It's a pretty fast run. I think I was I was the fifth highest paid person under 40 in all SEC filings as an NYSE publicly traded officer. That's not good because the short sellers eat that shit up quick. Next thing is hard work doesn't always pay off. I believe the harder I work, the luckier I get. When I was going public, I had $100 million in EBITDA, and Mark Zuckerberg was going public. And in my opinion, I worked just as hard as he did. But his multiplier was luck. So some of you work just as hard as each other, but you might not have the right industry or the right multiplier, right? But we all work hard. So I talk a lot about that in the book. I also talk about your failure quotient. So having come from a one-bedroom shack, my first book was called Nothing to Lose. And the reason why I was able to be successful in business is I really thought to myself, I have nothing to lose. Right now, the middle class, they have so much to lose, or at least their perception is that they have so much to lose, that they're afraid to start businesses. Entrepreneurship is on a downtrend right now in America, and that's sad. Wages are stagnant. I don't understand why more people aren't starting more businesses. Entrepreneurs are the new rock stars in our society, right? Mark Zuckerberg's on the cover of Vogue magazine. Maybe not Vogue, but he might as well be. So why is it that entrepreneurship is on a downward trend, right? When wages are stagnant for everybody? To me, my belief is it's one of education. I think we're not teaching this subject correctly, and that's my reason why I wrote the book, and that's my reason why I'm passionate about teaching it any opportunity I get. If I can teach to you and your team, if I can teach here, the reason why I invested in Youngry is I'm a teacher, right? And if they would pay me $10 million a year to teach, I wouldn't start businesses. I'd just teach them, right? Well, I'd have to make more than that. The secret of my success, I've made two main philosophies. And in fact, I was going to title this book Everything to Lose, because I had nothing to lose. It did well and took off around the world, 12 countries bestseller. I was going to title the next book Everything to Lose, because the decisions that I have to make now that I run a big global company and have a lot to lose. It just turns out that my target audience was like 100 people. So Everything to Lose didn't make it, but I do share with people the different decisions that you have to make when you do have everything to lose. And I do that to identify with you. You might have a mortgage. You might have to put your kids through school. You might be really fearing how you make that jump. How do you reinvent yourself as an entrepreneur and do it full time. And that's a tough decision for each and every single one of us that we have to make. So, I share that with you because I have philosophies around that subject. I've deeply thought about them. I also have a formula to determine certainty in a decision. Now, I'll give you a simple case in point, and then I'm almost done. I bought a writer's cabin up in northern Arizona. And I used to just buy anything and everything that I wanted at all times because I didn't care, because I don't really care about money. Money, to me, money follows, it doesn't lead. So all the money that I get, it happens because I do something else. And in my world, in consumer products, and right, that's because I've created some extreme value, and the money just starts rolling in. And it's a magical thing when it just, you hit a tipping point. I remember when I hit 65 million a month in sales, and I'd hit refresh on my mobile app, and every second I'd make like $1,000, right? As an entrepreneur, how many of you guys want that moment to happen to your business, right? Okay, for those of you who don't, we won't be talking afterward. Another thing I talk about in my book is finding your superpower. I'm going to give you an analogy on this subject. Not analogy, the inspiration for it, I should say. My son Reagan has autism, and he came home being bullied one day. And when I was a kid, if somebody bullied me, I fought. But I didn't want my boy to have that same type of, I want him to be better than his father. I want him to be a gentleman. And one day I was talking to him, and he can't really talk much because the kids with autism, it's a communication disease. And I told him, I said, you know what you're great at, Reagan? I said, Reagan, you can stare through a wall. Because autistic kids, they don't make eye contact, but they could stare at a wall. It's a coping mechanism. And I said, when those kids bully you, just tell them staring contest. And he lit up. And you know what happens now? The teachers call me and they're like, will you please tell your son to quit staring down all the kids when they bully him? Because they're starting to get upset with it. Because they can't win. I can't win. I've had every one of my friends go, like, guys that were 10 years in the NFL show up to my house. Chad's been there last night, right? Chad, guys that have played in the Super Bowl, in the Pro Bowl. And I'm like, do me a favor, see if you can beat my son in a staring contest. Not a chance. So I use that cute little thing that I learned with my son, but really what it means to us in business is we have to find our strength. Whatever our power is, our strength. Now, it'll mold and change over time, and then you need to create a team around you to put you in your strength zone. Most of our society talks about our weaknesses, and like, for example, if any of you guys taken the Clifton Strength Finders test, right? I highly recommend it. I've done it. It's like $87. You get your 34 strengths. I'm not paid by them to promote this, so those of you who are thinking that I'm some sort of, but it tells you your strengths, and then you get to use that as an opportunity to understand yourself and then have your team understand you. And so, like, for example, I have a partner in one of my companies that one of his strengths is consistency. My number 33 is consistency. I'm ADD, man. Like you guys would probably see as I'm jumping around. I don't value consistency. I'll never be good at it. He used to tell me, Ryan, you need to be more consistent. Ryan, let me help you be more consistent. That's not going to get me to show up to a meeting, right, on time. But now that he knows that my strength is competition, which is a superpower, and there's a balcony for that, and there's a basement, he gets to say, Ryan, what would Steve Jobs do in this situation? He'd probably show up to that meeting on time, right? So I show up. So you have to find your superpower, you have to know what your strengths are, and you have to know when your strengths are at their best in the balcony, metaphorically, or in the basement at their worst. And I've learned a lot about the bad side of competition. I write a lot about that in the book. You know how many lawsuits I've been in, class action lawsuits? I mean, I've spent I've spent $20 million in attorney fees, right? $20 million in attorney fees. That's not a lot of fun. And by the way, afterward, if you have any questions specific to your business that you think I can answer, because I know in a public forum, it's not easy to be like, hey, what would you do if you were me in this subject? Write them down, get them to me. I'm an open book, and I'm here to teach. And every single one of you, I'll tell you whatever I know and give whatever value I possibly can for free. I just need you to support me in my book. Very last item is, I've learned survival skills in business. Right now, the competition is after you, your customers, more so than ever. Jeff Bezos said, your margin is my opportunity. So you know what that means, right? He's going to try to figure out your margin and your product, and he's going to go after it 100%, all that he's got. Look at what Uber's doing in Apple and Tesla with self-driving cars. There will be 2 million jobs missing in the next 5 to 10 years minimum. And I'm involved in a lot of, like for example, Heal, an on-demand doctor service that I've invested in. We launched at Qualcomm and we launched at Google. They are going to change the way the medical system and the private practice system works. So I try to invest in companies that actually, destroy jobs but create new types of jobs that are more informational and more efficient. But you have to have survival skills in an environment where people are targeting you and your customers day in and day out. You have to develop those skills because it's not going to be easy, and the competition is getting smarter and smarter as they accumulate more data on all of us. And you're at war. I've been at war, and I have rules for being at war. The bigger you get, the bigger target you are. So, like, all my competition used to laugh at me when I came up with this thing called the Body by Body 90-Day Challenge. It'll never work. Other people have had challenges before, but I use social media to get people to share their challenges. In fact, I can tell you proudly that I was the first company that made our entire marketing front end the use of challenge marketing and challenge as a concept. The Ice Bucket Challenge was inspired by us, and in fact, we told them what we know about the subject. The 22 Push-Up Challenge that's now gone phenomenal. I own the domain name challenge.com, right? Oh yeah. So you're at war 9 days a week, and people are going to copy you. They're going to try to reverse engineer you, right? And so you got to develop some skills on that subject. I'm almost done. The last thing I've learned is you got to take the stairs. There's no shortcut to success. Don't try to take the elevator, take the stairs. And then the very last item of it is a lot of people want to be famous today, and I'm going to close on this. A lot of people are trying to be entrepreneurs because they want to be famous. That's it. If that's your driver, that's okay, I understand that. But 15 minutes of fame doesn't pay 10 minutes worth of bills these days. So you got to ask yourself, what do you really want to build? What lasting value do you really want to create? What is your legacy with this? And to me, it's simple. I named my son Ryan Reagan Blair for a reason, because my name is Ryan Jerry Blair, and I hated my middle name because that was my dad's name and he abandoned the family. So much so that when I was working out, I would do sets of Jerry, 5-letter word times 2. I named my son Ryan because I wanted to always be accountable to him, so that way he would always be proud of his name, unlike I was, and that he could pass down the learnings, the value system, and perhaps even the companies and our charity and philanthropic work to his children's children's children. And that's my purpose. So I thank you for this short little speech that I've been able to give you here today. I'm available if you want more information from me. But Ash, over to you, sir, if you want to have a quick Q&A.
Let's grab a seat.
Give him a round of applause! All right.
Got some Q&A.
Yeah, we're going to keep it pumped. Cheers. Beers. Cheers. Ryan.
That wasn't as good as it was before. I think I might have been too intense.
You got to do it. You know what to do. Cheers, beers, and then your first name. They got it. Ready? Try it.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
I love you, Ryan. I appreciate you.
I love you too.
Yeah,
Ryan
by the
means
way,
Little King. We're good.
I know. I appreciate it. I was on his radio show, and he's an awesome guy. A lot to learn from him. Go ahead.
So, well, first off, I'm not going to lie. Ryan Blair is my social proof for Youngry. When you talk about raising money or you talk about who's on your team, you always talk about, we have this rock star content editor, we have this rock star marketing director, we have this content team, and we got investors like Ryan Blair. So, not going to lie, that's our social proof. I like it, Ryan Blair, as the Peter Thiel to our Facebook, kind of how Peter Thiel was his first investor. So, I just want to personally thank you because I've never really gotten to do that. But for Ryan's book, besides the fact that he's a bestseller already, besides the fact that he's a rock star entrepreneur, I'm going to read you a testimonial that someone gave him. And this is for the people who are into the more serious business books. Has anyone here heard of John Maxwell? Raise your hand. I want Ryan to understand because he's a big mentor to Ryan Blair. I'm going to read you what John Maxwell said. I'm going to share a quick little story of how I learned about Ryan, and then we'll get into it. John Maxwell, author, speaker, and leadership expert, said, having trouble finding the energy and the purpose you know have inside you? This book is one story after another on the practical actions you can take to start transforming into the rock star leader you want to be. So if John Maxwell, who many of you raise your hand, vouches for Ryan, then I can tell you that this is the book you need to get. So I haven't shared this to a lot of people, but one thing that Ryan has helped me realize, because I read an advanced copy of his of this book, is the power of vulnerability. So I created Youngry because I wanted to provide a content platform to empower the young and hungry-minded entrepreneurs, which is obvious. I've talked about it. You can see it when you go outside. But I had a story. Almost 6 years ago, I almost hit bankruptcy with my first business. I was ashamed to ask for people for help. I lived in what you would call the projects in South Santa Ana. It was bad. I witnessed 1 or 2 drive-by shootings. Fortunately, no one got hurt. It was just shooting at the houses. And at that time, one of my partners recommended me his book, Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain. And when I read that book, I kind of had that Wolverine moment that, like, you can heal, you know? Like, no matter how hard you get stabbed, you can heal back. And he basically said this really simple philosophy that, look, if you got nothing to lose, there's no choice but to go to the top. So I've had a homage, business love for what Ryan Blair has been doing for so long. And when my partner and I decided to create Youngry, it was emphatic that we had to find a way to meet this cat. And the power of hustle, the power of believing in your dreams, the power that if I can meet someone who I look up to, someone who I want to learn from, someone who can inspire me and my team to make Youngry this huge opportunity, then you all can too. So take his advice and meet him after, buy his books, get him to sign it, and talk to him after. And I get nothing out of these book sales other than just being a fan.
Nor do I. Other than giving value.
Speaking the truth. Clap your hands if you love the truth.
Thank you, Ryan. Ash, I didn't know that about that you read Nothing to Lose in a bad state. I write for LinkedIn right now, and I get these stories all the time, and I give my email address in each book, and I read through all the emails. I can't reply to them all, but like, there's nothing more magical to me to know that something I did several years ago created value, and I didn't do it for that. Now we're somehow capturing that value. Yeah. But I do it without any desire or intention of immediate remuneration, so to speak, right?
Okay, cool.
I do it because I just want to help. So how can I help you, man?
Well, I'm actually curious, how do you stay grounded? Because you seem like you live this lifestyle. I mean, I'm not going to lie, from an outside perspective, you did a lot of talking about your accomplishments. You talked a lot about living this, always on full cylinders. Like, how do you stay grounded? Is it your son? Is it, like, what keeps you grounded?
Yeah, well, so a lot of people don't know this. I don't talk much about it, but I was raised Mormon up until my dad disappeared at 13. So I have this spiritual protocol with me. I since created my own religion, and I have my own spirituality. I'm not here to project that. But I have this belief system that everything I go through and everything I do happens for a reason. And I know that if I don't pay it forward, like the deal I made with God, basically, was if he let me, when my mother started dating a multimillionaire real estate entrepreneur, I was 17, and she required him to adopt me, otherwise she wasn't gonna date him. And so I knew that if I screwed up, I was gonna destroy my mother's Cinderella story. So I made a deal with God. I said, this is my way out. I'll spend the rest of my life giving back. And I've pledged 95% of my wealth to charity as a result, because I just know that that's the deal I made. So how do I stay grounded? I always have, rock bottom to rock star, I wrote because I was having some rock bottom moments, not just, as a result of, my mother and so forth, but as a result of me doing stupid rock star stuff. Okay. So how do I stay grounded? I think now I get more value out of seeing other people have success than necessarily having my own. And I know that I get my small little piece of whatever you do, and that'll be just fine.
Okay. So I referenced many times that you're a mentor to me. And we talked about this in another interview, but tell us about a lesson or two that one of your business mentors has helped you.
Yeah. So I have a system for this. For one, I'm going to name some names. So Coach John Wooden, does anyone know who he is? Yeah. All right. So he was a very important mentor to me. Yeah, Pyramid of Success. I'm going to release the interviews that I did with him. So I would interview him. I wasn't doing it. I just would record it. And this is just a random thing. As I was recording my mentorship sessions with John Wooden, Don Yeager got a copy of it. And Don Yeager is an 8 times New York Times bestselling author. And he said to me, Ryan, you need to write a book. And that's how I got published, was Don Yeager. But that said, so John Wooden, Coach Dale Brown, Dan Gilbert of Quicken Loans, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've had Paul Allen over the house of Microsoft. Tony Hsieh has been a mentor. There's been a bunch of...
But what have they shared with you? What
well,
have you
got to
learned?
read the book.
Okay, all right,
No,
all right, all right.
Kidding. You know, it's not necessarily that they share something. It's me observing them. Right? Like you guys are observing me. It may not be the words that I give you. It might be that you see a certain perspective that perhaps you didn't. With Paul Allen, when he was at my house, I was having a small little event with a few friends. Now, by show of hands, any of you guys know who Paul Allen is, founder of Microsoft? Right? So in the history of humanity, he's in the top 100 richest people that have ever existed. He's above pharaohs and Alexander the Great in terms of his wealth accumulation to that of the GDP of society. So in my opinion, I was just in the White House the other day, so I've spent time observing the president. I was just with Tim Kaine, and I'm a Republican, but somehow I get invited into these meetings. I won't talk about politics, but I say I just want to win, and not win. I want America to get better, no matter who wins, is what I should say.
Okay.
But I tell you that. So what lessons they shared? So John Wooden would tell me things like, it's not who's right, it's what's right. Right? And every time I'm in a business meeting and like I hear people attacking shit or like, I don't agree with that idea. I'm like, dude, you're thinking about who's right, not what's right. What's right is we talk about this idea, not who it came from. I see that happen so often. So John Wood, Coach Dale Brown told me, he told me that adversity visits us all. Some fall down, the leaders get back up, right? Dale Brown has a lot of fundamental wisdom on that. Tony Hsieh told me this was when I was about to sell. So I went and spent a lot of time with him. I met him at an economist event that I was giving a speech at, and I bonded with him. And I brought my executive team in to spend time with him. He didn't charge me for anything. It was like, he'd tune us up. And he said, I would raise your prices immediately and stop growing. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? I'm about to make $1 billion and you want me to stop growing? Your prices, you need to raise them immediately. And if you've ever met Tony, he doesn't have any emotion in anything he says ever.
It's like a robot.
You need to raise your prices immediately. You need to stop growing. I should have listened to him right then and there because I grew too fast and the wheels fell off and a lot of things that we did. I went from hiring 50 people to 570 people in 1 year's time. And you cannot contain culture. In fact, I write a lot about that in the book, about now what I would do differently at that level of scale, because I've scaled so fast just to keep the lights on, right? I've lost $25 million in supply chain errors. Product that goes into landfills. I lost another $25 million in my European ventures. Why? Because I didn't think about the currency devaluation issue that our global monetary policy and economic policy might yield. So for those of you that are international entrepreneurs, and I'm mad at myself for that because I was a currency trader, right? Like I should have thought currency. I make products here and ship them there. Well, that's not good if the dollar all of a sudden inverses, from a euro at 162 to $1, which is where I pegged my economic model to where we are today. And the Europeans right now in their social systems and their welfare support systems and their healthcare support systems, they don't really like to work.
What about the Dan Gilbert?
Dan Gilbert is, I'll tell you what I learned from him, and I'm gonna tell you something that's really cool from it. So I was before Quicken took off, my office was in Troy, Michigan, and he asked us to move with him to reinvigorate downtown Detroit. My employees said they will quit if we move to Detroit. Right? I should have fired them at that time because what he did there is out of this world. I put $10 million into a 63,000 square foot facility where I could have bought a 6 million square foot facility that would now today be worth 200 million. So what Dan, at Visalis, we have a marketing mantra that we have a trademark that I came up with called "Told You So," and when I sit down with Dan, he just kind of gives me that thing right back to me called "Told You So."
Okay.
So Dan taught me culture's everything. Tony Hsieh has his culture-related initiatives, which are really cool, but it's a little different. Dan Gilbert's culture is a little different, and it makes a lot more money. Dan makes $1 billion a year in net profit from Quicken, and he owns 100% of his company. That's a pretty good income. Let alone what he does with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the $2 billion of real estate, and all the other initiatives he's involved in. So, and I'll tell you one other story about Dan that I've never shared. So, I go in to meet with him. It wasn't like a good friend. I knew that he was going to give me 15 minutes at best. I was just grateful the guy was going to give me 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
A multi-billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he's got to worry about LeBron, not me, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's got a championship he's focused on. And I sit in the room, and I look on his whiteboard, and it says, "Prepare for Ryan Blair meeting," along with 30 other tasks. And I'm not a big deal. Like, guys, compared to Dan Gilbert, he's preparing for my meeting. He sits down with a folder of all the research that they've done, and he asked me more questions. Like, it was almost like, and it wasn't a matter of he wanted to ask me 100 questions about what I did and how I did it so he could learn, right? I didn't actually get to ask many questions that meeting. And I was like, "Hey, I have a question. Can you give me $1 billion?" And I didn't get to that.
So you said something that was really interesting, and by the way, these questions aren't scripted. Ryan has this flow with me where he's like, "I want you to tell me it's transparent." So we're gonna get your guys' questions very soon. You said something about culture, and what I like about this organization. First off, I want to give a shout out to Lee Decker, Ryan Folan for making this event happen. Orange Tech Happy Hour.
And I'm going to use this opportunity to make sure that everyone is social media-ing. What is a hashtag? What is the hashtag you're supposed to use?
RB2RS.
RB2RS.
RB2RS. So right now, and actually, I'm going to go back to the
It's
tech.
numerical too.
We're gonna change this to the hashtag for Ryan. So we want to get some nice love. There are so many great nuggets of information. Get your phones out. The Wi-Fi is a Cove, and it's sandy.toes. Wi-Fi the Cove, sandy.cove.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you guys.
All right, here we go.
One thing that I credit what Lee is doing and what Youngry will be doing and what you have done with Visalis is you talk about culture, you talk about these movements. How many people here, just before I ask your question, are doing something to build a brand? You have a consumer brand, you want to get a following? Raise your hand, because this question's for you guys. Okay, perfect. Ryan, I want to know, what are the elements to build a movement for your brand? It's not markets, dollars.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what inspired me. So after the reset, so I sold to Blythe, a publicly traded company, in 2008, 2008. I had what's called a flex year. It's kind of anybody golf, a mulligan, right? Like you get to redo it. So I wrote this weird term in that the attorneys, that it was an 8 times multiple on my EBITDA, paid out over 4 years. But I was like, but if I didn't hit my EBITDA targets, they canceled the deal. And I was like, well, what if something happens outside my control, right? So I got the mulligan in, and my mulligan was in 2009 when the recession hit. They wrote off the publicly traded company. They wrote off my investment to zero, which is highly embarrassing that a publicly traded company says what they just paid a $32 million valuation for is now worth zero. So the process that I've been through. What was your damn question again? I got ADD.
What traits does it take to build a movement?
All right, movement. I got it. Okay, there we go. I'm back. Sorry, guys. I saw like a butterfly moving around or something like that. I do definitely have ADD. I read this article during that time by one of the Wired magazine writers. And you guys, it's called KK.org. It's on KK.org. It's called 1,000 True Fans. Did you guys read that article?
Yeah, people raising their hands.
Read it?
Yeah.
So when I read that, I was like, man, I've got it all wrong. I was trying to build a movement, but I was trying to focus on like everybody. And I would chase revenue. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to be with people. Like, I used to wear suits and ties to every business meeting, every meeting period. I'd cover up my tattoos, and I was like, do I really want to spend time with people that don't know who I am authentically, that don't have the same thorns that I do, right? So I said I'm going to focus on getting 1,000 people that are similar to me, similar values. Being a learner is a big thing for me, right? Being analytical. Being open to negative feedback. I don't want to say negative, but like I don't want yes people around me, right? So I got 1,000 of those people, and I started with like 1 and then 2 and then 3, and then I created a movement from it. I've signed up 3 million people for the Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge at an average of $150 a month, give you an idea. I've done nearly $2 billion in revenue on the subject. So in essence, I did so. Now though, having bought back the company, and I'm in a turnaround situation, which finally I got it to profitability, now I'm right back to that very same philosophy. I want 1,000 true fans, that's it.
So even though you've
I have 50,000, 100,000 of them now, but I'm focused on those true fans and only that.
So that's how you stay humble as an entrepreneur. You know, you've had all this success. You're starting with the basics.
Yeah, you gotta always, the fundamentals. Like John Wooden has a quote. He says, you know what the problem is with new books? They stop you from reading the old ones. Okay. Right? So you know what's the problem with new metrics? Right, they change your focus on the old ones.
Yeah.
So back to the basics. If you have, and the thesis on KK.org's 1,000 True Fans is if you have 1,000 people that'll pay you $100 a year, you will become a professional musician, athlete, photographer, or whatever, making $100,000 a year. So simple math, if you have 10,000 people paying you $100 a year, you make what? $1 million a year. 100,000 people, but I see all these people right now wanting 1 million fans and even paying money for fake ones.
Yeah.
But that's such a bad, it's so bad. I'd rather have 10,000 people following me that are my absolute ride or die true fans, like my team members and everybody else that support me in this book, than 1 million.
Last question, and then I want to get some audience questions. What is one thing that you want someone to take away from reading your book?
So I've been testing this content. I wrote Nothing to Lose first with Don Yeager, and then I had to rewrite it when my stepfather passed away, because I had a 10-day experience with him where he was tough love on me. He wrote me out of his will. Like people think I inherited money, and like a lot of the book, like the criticism out there is like, oh, I hit the lottery. I did hit the lottery. I was born in America, check number 1 for hitting the lottery. Check number 2, God gave me some talents that people misidentified, which made me really, really focus on building them, because I had no other choice. I wasn't good at math. I wasn't good at English. I wasn't good at any of that stuff. So when I did have an opportunity to learn, I took it seriously. So the one thing I'd want people to get out of this and reading the book is that I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this because I have a purpose. And I wrote it in 2003, and I'll paraphrase it. I published it in Nothing to Lose. In essence, I said my purpose is to utilize the adversities that I've been through to help other people through theirs, which are primarily social, financial, insecurities, and other things. And I was going to measure my influence by being a scary judge of talent. And I was going to leverage that talent to go out there and somehow make change to, at that time I said 1 million people. Now the only change in my purpose is that I want to make change to 1 billion people. And I want people to take away from this book that I'm using my journey to hopefully connect with yours, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes, or you might be able to take the same actions or adopt my philosophies and principles as I have with my mentors. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you find something good that suits you, your value system, that you can remember, like John Wooden's, it's not who's right, or it's not who's right, it's what's right. Grab that shit and adopt it and put it in action. So my goal is to create a community around Rock Bottom to Rockstar where we help people get from rock bottom. We help acknowledge a new brand of rock stars, people who are like you. You guys right now could be doing anything in your evening, right? But you're here right now learning, and I imagine most of you are going to take that learning, apply it, and you're going to make something better in this world because of it. So I wrote this book for that. And I want you to not only take away that I wrote it for that, but I want you to take action because of that. And then I want to hear your voice. And my next book is already, I got a big publishing deal, blah, blah, blah. My next book is going to be your stories, not my stories. So I plan to have Rock Bottom to Rockstar become a franchise. Much like Chicken Soup for the Soul, but with a little more F-bombs.
Give that a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You are his next book.
Thank you.
You are his next book.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, let's get 1 to 2 quick questions, and then Ryan's going to be here to do book signings. We're going to say thanks, of course, before that. I'm going to real quick though, because we want to respect the time for the organizers. Real quick questions. You, because you were always giving me good advice over there. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Wait for Dawn. Wait. Here we go.
Quick question, not a speech.
Yeah, quick question. Thanks a lot for talking. The thing about writing books or writing in general, I've always thought about blogging or writing books, but I'm too busy trying to think up my own ideas. So,
yeah, advice for you.
Repeat the question as part of your answer, please.
Yeah, writing a book. A lot of people have the goal to write a book. For one, I'm a writer. Like that's how I express myself. I wrote to a judge in juvenile hall begging for leniency, and he said, Ryan, you should be writing in college, not in prison, and that's how I avoided going to prison. So writing is my art. I highly suggest, is it your art? If it's an art of yours, if it's something within you that helps give you a creative release, it's a therapy, then do it, then write. But if it's not, channel that desire to make an impact or to communicate toward perhaps another medium. But don't try to utilize mediums that aren't necessarily the things that you love. Like
Perfect.
Some people, like Andrew Sandler, that guy is an award-winning, he's won VMAs. He's my protege. I discovered him at an after party at my house in 2010. He's since gone on to direct feature films, blah, 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 right? His art is directing behind that camera, right? He's not gonna write a book. If he told me, Ryan, I wanna write a book, I'd say, don't, right? Because his art is that film. So find out what your art is, but every one of us as humans is artists. Some of us as artists, my art, like right now, this might be artful to some of you, but like I'm at my best, man, when I'm sitting there inside of a school teaching. So like I'm at West Point right now, and I've been nominated as a fellow for their Leadership Science Academy. I love doing that shit, man. That's what I love, right? But I'm not trying to learn how to play the violin. So if writing is your art, then you got to master it. Last thing, if it is your art, you got to do it at least 15 minutes per day. Rain, sleep, no sleep, whatever, snow. You write 15 minutes per day about anything and everything because you have to do it daily.
Last question, speaking of art, Lee, do you have a final question for Ryan Blair, for the crowd?
Lee, are you ready?
What time do you wake up in the morning?
Yeah, I never sleep, man. You know, it's different. So every morning is completely different. I look at my time holistically. I don't give a shit when I wake up. I've designed everything around my life to put me in my strength zone at my highest energy. Now, I am forced, however, to wake up or to stay up when I have to fly to Europe. I've had speaking tours all over Europe and had to push myself to the ultimate limits. And I'm going to use this in context of your question about writing. I'm at my best writing-wise around 4 to 5 a.m. So I wake up around then, and I'll write from, say, 4 to 9 on a good day, because my offices are not calling me. All the employees are starting to show up around 8, so they don't want to deal with me. I get all my writing done. I get ahead of my day, and then I attack it. Now, in the days where I can't do that, because let's say, time clock adjusted, I've technically, been up till 4 a.m., then I get sleeping done, and I write at night. So I no longer try to have a set schedule because I don't have control over whether or not I'm going to get a call from my European office or, because they're 9 hours ahead of me right now. So these guys are waking up emailing me as I'm trying to go to sleep. And sometimes they need an answer. And even in my sleep, they might need an answer, right?
Perfect.
So, but I do have a ritual and I do have a regimen. And the simple ritual is this. I need 3 hours of me time before I deal with anyone else. That includes my workout. That includes my writing at a minimum. That includes, meditation. Ash is giving me some good meditational advice. My best days, I've got 3 hours of time just to me before I get hit with whatever I got to get hit with.
Okay. Let's give it up for Ryan, guys.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one quick thing?
What now?
Can I say one quick thing?
Almost after I say one more thing. So I've got this really cool project, the City of Speakers, and I want to know your voice. I want to know what is your voice, because it's so arbitrary, it's amazing, and you have so many things you're going to say. So I'm going to put you under the bus, and I'm going to say, Ryan Blair, what is your voice?
It's really deep.
I love
what do you mean, what's my voice?
What is your voice? Like, if you were to sum everything up, like, what is you? What is going on?
I'm a commoner, man. I came from dirt, and I'm going to wind up in dirt, and I just like to teach people how I got to where I am along the way.
So your voice is teaching?
My voice is teaching from the perspective of a person who's got it the hard way.
I love it. I love it. Yes, clap for that, and then, Ash, you got one more thing.
I got one quick thing to say. So I don't know if you noticed, but you might be wondering, Okay, Youngry's doing a fundraising event, and this is our finale event for our tour. Why haven't I really talked about it? I haven't really talked about it, and it's for a reason. I want to leave people here with a quick surprise. If anybody here decides to buy Ryan's book, or buy one of our Youngry shirts, they're only $25. Holla, look at me. I know I look fly. If you buy one of those, I'm going to give you a piece of ownership in Youngry. This is not related to our crowdfunding campaign, so I can do this legally, but I'm going to give you a piece in Youngry. Like, you will get the equivalent of something in Youngry if you leave your email with either the book side or that side. And I got this inspired by Jet.com. I don't know if you know about Jet.com, but they got bought by Walmart for a couple billion, I think. But they did something similar, and I'm inspired by that. Where when they were first launching, they said, if you buy or if you help promote X amount of people to Jet.com, they are going to give you X amount of shares. Some people who got 600 supporters made a couple million and up. And I'm not saying your share is going to be worth that much, but I'm saying, or maybe, but you never know.
Mine are going to be worth that.
Yeah, holler for sure. But
Youngry, my shares in Youngry. Guys, take this offer, because I promise you this, we're leaning in.
Yeah, I'm serious. Buy a shirt and or buy a book. And if you can only buy one, buy the book. You will get a share in Youngry. You have my word. You have it on camera. You have it here. This is only for this event, because that's how much the Orange County entrepreneur scene means to me. I built my teeth out here. I failed here. I lived in the projects out here. I got my success out here. And now I'm taking it to the next level with Youngry out here. So take this offer, guys, because this will not happen in any other Youngry. This has never happened in Youngry event. And people who are at a Youngry event are going to freaking strangle me after. It's all good. But I want you all to support Ryan's book and buy the Youngry shirts. That's all I got.
Shit, yeah.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, cheers! Beers! Ryan!
Blair!
All right. Now get your book back there. He's going to be stationed here. We're going to have a line of people that are getting the book signing. So start lining up here. Go get your books. Maestro, let's get some music so it's not as awkward. And buy the damn book. Use a hashtag.